new era of the SEC begins in 2024 on ESPN and ABC.
Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. Where else would you rather be on a college football Saturday than the Grove here at Ole Miss for the two highest scoring offenses in the SEC? It's LSU taking on Ole Miss, and who powers those two offenses? Time to head over to our quarterback, RG3.
Well, Bob, they're led by two quarterbacks. One is Jackson Dart for Ole Miss, and the other is Jaden Daniels for LSU. They are true triple-threat quarterbacks. They can beat you with their arm, their legs, and their mind. For LSU, they got two bona fide wideouts in Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. And for Ole Miss, that defense at LSU is going to try to keep shutting down Quinshon Judkins. But if you ask the people here in the Grove, are you ready?
Lane Kiffin admitted that loss to Alabama was tough, and on Sunday, looking for any kind of inspiration, he found it in an email from a stranger. In that email was a story about a farmer who received a lot of bad fortune, but the point of the story was this: it's all about a positive outlook, because you never know what's around the corner, that everything happens for a reason. So you know what he did? He printed out dozens of that poem. He put it all over the team meeting rooms, on the coaches' doors for everybody to read. We'll see if that inspiration pays off and see if they can get a win over a top 15 team today, guys.
And we are indeed about to find out. The Bayou Bengals taking the field. Hotty Toddy is set as well. We'll kick it off in a moment. Ole Miss and LSU, college football primetime. We are set in Oxford for the SEC on ESPN. The paratroopers soaring into the vault before the game. And what right now is impossible to figure out is the SEC West. RG3, this is a wide open race. We saw Alabama. They look vulnerable. LSU fans still trying to figure out how good their team is as well. But if they win this game, they would have 3 wins in the division to begin conference play.
Yeah, they would. And to be honest, they all look vulnerable right now. And Lane Kiffin, they're licking their wounds right now from the game against Alabama. They really felt like this was the time to get them. It didn't happen. So you know what they're rewarded with? LSU the next week, and this high-powered offense is going to be a great day of football.
And Brian Kelly really believes his team can do something special this season, especially if they find their identity maybe on the back end of their defense.
Oh, 100%. Their secondary is the weak link of their defense right now. He wants them to stop playing street ball and just do their job.
Nathan Dybert will put this one through the back of the end zone, as LSU won the toss and deferred their option to the second half. So Jackson Dart gets the ball first.
Yes, I don't want you to be distracted by that mustache. This man is an absolute baller. He can beat you with his arm, beat you with his legs and his mind. And they brought in a quarterback through the transfer portal in the offseason. And you know what he said? Bring it on. That's going to put a chip on his shoulder. And he's come out here and shown that he's taken the next step as a quarterback. I'm looking forward to see what he can do with this front of LSU.
And Quinshon Judkins, of course, to his left in the shotgun. They would love to get him going as well, as their run game has been somewhat inconsistent. Jordan Watkins on a quick out to the sideline gets things started for Ole Miss, a gain of 7. They also get Zachary Franklin and Trey Harris, both in the lineup today, as healthy as they have been in quite some time.
Yeah, Trey Harris has an amazing stat line. I'll get to that right after this play.
The first carry for Judkins, right up the gut for a first down.
We talked about Trey Harris. He's only played 8 series this year. On those 8 series, they have 7 touchdowns and a field goal, and he's got 5 touchdown catches. Him being back out there gives Jackson Dart that big target down the field that he loves to throw those go balls to.
A pitch, and Judkins with a stiff arm pays the price out on the edge. He picks up a couple, and there is the laser beam that is Harold Perkins Jr. sideline to sideline. He is some kind of player.
Yeah, you're going to see the pitch here, and he's going to play the quarterback first and then rally to go get the back. Not everybody can do it like that, people.
Dart outside the numbers, and it is good for a first down. There's Trey Harris showing up for the first time.
Like we said, they're happy to have Trey Harris back. They know that these corners are going to give a lot of free access, so they're going to do their job, run the stop route, run back down the stem. Nice job by the quarterback getting him a ball. Maybe pick it up a little bit, but hey, nice play by the offense.
Judkins for 6 more. There are only 4 teams in college football that on average snap the ball faster than Ole Miss. They are one of the most up-tempo, rapid-fire offenses in college football.
And they want to keep the defense on their heels, and right now they are doing it.
Play action. One-on-one down the sideline. Climbing the ladder is Harris, and he is denied by Terrence Welch.
I talked about Trey Harris being back, and Jackson Dart loves those deep throws down the field, giving his receiver an opportunity to go up and make a play. A lot of hand fighting there, but nice job by Terrence Welch to play through the hands of the wide receiver. Sometimes you can't see the ball, but you can see the receiver's eyes get really big, and that's when you know it's time to swat it away.
3rd down, quarterback run. Jackson Dart gets to the edge, lowers his shoulder, and he's got the 1st down and then some. Welch made the tackle, but Dart picks up 10.
And that's been a problem for this LSU defense. Last week against KJ Jefferson, some of those scrambles and the design quarterback runs hurt them. Jackson Dart has to continue to use his legs today.
Judkins again, into the secondary again, to the 21-yard line, close to another 1st down. They will say without measurement, he's got 10 more.
You're going to see it right here. Quinshon Judkins just going to make sure go right downhill at this LSU defense.
Judkins on 1st down for a yard.
And I got to be honest with you, Bob, I'm kind of shocked by that, because when we talked to Ole Miss and Charlie Weiss, their OC, Charlie Weiss Jr., their OC this week, they said, you know, we're going to run side to side before we get downhill on this massive LSU front. But right now, they're letting them know, hey, man, we're moving that line of scrimmage back.
Flare out to the edge. Dayton Wade. Inside the 10-yard line, it's 1st and goal, Rebels. Hardest thing for a defense about trying to keep up with this pace?
Well, the hardest thing is catching your breath. I mean, they run right at you, then they put it on the edge right there with Dayton Wade, making you run sideline to sideline, but also have to anchor down. You look at the defensive linemen right now, they've all got their hands on their hips. You know, not when I dip, you dip, you dip, but they're tied.
Ulysses Bentley. And that time, the heart of the defense for the Bayou Bengals stands up. Big Mason Smith made the stop. Mekhi Wingo, Jordan Jefferson, those big bodies inside. That is the strength for LSU defensively. 2nd and goal. Out in the flat once again. And getting walloped is Dayton Wade. Well, he had nowhere to go as Welch closed quickly.
I mean, we said Terrence Welch's name a bunch. That's how you knock out the bubble screen. You run through the receiver who's trying to block, and you let that guy catching the ball know that he's not safe when he gets out there on the edge. Nice job by Terrence Welch.
Judkins back in, 13th play of the drive, and it's 3rd down and goal. Dart, tipped ball. It's still bobbled and caught, but well shy of the goal line as Trey Harris was able to haul it in. 4th and goal from the 4-yard line. And turning to his sideline is Lane Kiffin, put the right hand out and said to his field goal unit, stay on the bench.
Do we expect anything less from Lane Kiffin in this situation? He's trying to let his offense and the entire stadium know that they believe in their quarterback. I'd like to see them give him a run-pass option right here.
How about this for a tone setter? Going for it on 4th and goal. Dart. Lobs one in the end zone. Wide open. Judkins for an Ole Miss touchdown.
Well, Bob, that play couldn't have gone any better for them. You're going to see the motion come across. The linebacker's going to get stuck right there, and it just opens up Quinshon Judkins. I like to call that your old pick and rub play. 14 plays, 75 yards, 4 minutes and 35 seconds off the clock. This game could not have started better for the Rebels.
Well, Ole Miss at times can struggle on 3rd down, but they have no problem going for it on 4th down. They are now 9 for 11 going for it on 4th, and it just got them 7.
I'm not scared. Watch out for the minute.
Quite the start as the Rebels strike first, 7-0 over LSU. Bob Wischusen here with Robert Griffin III and Chris Button. 4th down and goal from the 4. And Lane Kiffin did what Lane Kiffin does. Pushed the button and told his guys to stay out there.
He told us that he was going to take risks. I think he didn't have to tell us that because we know his personality, and he showed it right there on the field.
So now an opportunity with the football for LSU for the first time. And that means Jaden Daniels gets an opportunity to show us what he can do. And Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. have become quite the duo. Neighbors, 523 yards and 5 touchdowns. And Brian Thomas Jr., well, he's got 413 yards and 5 touchdowns of his own. As a former quarterback, it must be nice to look to your left and your right and see those two guys out there.
Oh my gosh, it's a dream come true. You know, if the one guy gets doubled, the other guy's going to have a one-on-one. They have mismatches all over the field today.
They start with Logan Diggs, and he gets a couple of broken tackles and a first down, a gain of 13 on the first snap right up the gut, and we have an injured official on that play. It might be the umpire who was right in the middle of that downhill run by Logan Diggs. Paul Myers is the umpire. And right now the training staffs from both teams are heading out to make sure that he is okay, and he is not up yet. We will step aside and come right back to Oxford.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. 18 hotel brands, 1 loyalty program. Download the app. And in part by Target. Get ready for Target Circle Week, coming October 1st through the 7th.
An elite club of quarterbacks that Jaden Daniels just joined, along with our own RG3. Quarterbacks that have hit 10,000 passing yards and 2,000 or more rushing yards as well. It's a nice group to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels has really taken his game to the next level. You know, I'm honored to be in that group with him at this point, you know. Just really cool. Dan Lefevre, man, I remember that name. That's one of the all-time names for real.
Good news while we were away, by the way. Paul Myers, the umpire, who was hit on that last play and shaken up, was able to walk off the field on his own. So they're taking a look at him in the injury tent behind the Ole Miss bench. 1st and 10 LSU. Daniels to throw for the first time. Well protected, takes a deep shot. Right through the arms of Chris Hilton on the dive. It looked like a perfect throw from Jaden Daniels, and Hilton just couldn't haul it in. It looked like he had a step on DeAndre Prince.
He certainly had a step, and this is why I tell all receivers, make sure you don't jump if you don't have to. He could have ran through that, kept his feet, and it would not have thrown off his equilibrium. I know that might be a big word, but you don't want to jump when you don't have to. Just catch it and run through the ball.
Logan Diggs stood up after a gain of 2.5. Let's take a look at Three's keys.
All right, the Three's keys today. Push and P. The Rebels need to get Quinshon Judkins going, and they already started that. Jackson Dart is their leading rusher right now, but they need Quinshon to show up. Eye of the Tiger. Look, Malik Neighbors is going to be moved all around. Ole Miss has to pay attention to that. Harold Perkins Jr. is going to be moved all around on the defensive side. Their offense is to pay attention to that. And then the red zone Rebels, both teams have to hold each other to field goals in the red zone in order to make sure they can win this game, because those are going to be important.
The Land Sharks bring a blitz. It's picked up but tipped at the line. It looked like Isaac Ukwu got a hand up and knocked down the pass from Jaden Daniels.
And if Ukwu didn't get his hand up right here, it was going to be a first down. Jaden Daniels read the defense the right way, had to throw to his receiver on the outside, catch that, fall forward for a first down. But, hey, when they can't get to the quarterback, all defensive linemen, get your hands up and play volleyball. Knocking those balls down is what gets your team off the field, and now they get it back to their offense.
Actually, J.J. Pagista got a hand on it, the Auburn transfer. So with a 7-0 lead, about to get the football back is Ole Miss. Fair catch all the way back to the 11-yard line by Jordan Watkins. A good kick by Jay Bramlett of 49 yards. Well, they want to get the run game going if they can for Ole Miss. It's been a roller coaster, and of course this somewhat dependent on who they have played. It's not surprising in week 1 you have a good week against Mercer. They struggled a bit against Tulane. They were at the top of the roller coaster against Georgia Tech, 299 yards and 5 touchdowns. But to your point earlier, they struggled against Alabama to move the line of scrimmage.
To your point that you actually just made as well, Bob, when they go against great competition, they have to make sure that they can still hold up. Lane Kiffin told us this week that usually when you play teams like Alabama or Georgia, they can bring out all of the bad qualities you have of your team and heighten your weaknesses. And right now they want to show that they can run the football against this LSU team.
Dart out of the pocket, a flag down, zips one up the sideline. Jordan Watkins came back to help out his quarterback, but it looks like this is going to be a holding call against Ole Miss.
Yeah, it'll be holding on Quinshon Judkins, it looks like.
Holding, number 4 on the offense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
Let's head down to Chris.
I spoke with Quinshon Judkins this week, and he's heard from everyone. How do you get Judkins going after the explosive year he had a year ago? And he said, listen, I just have to be patient, keep my nose down, continue doing my work. Once we all get healthy on the offense, I know my yards will eventually come.
And it will definitely help getting Zachary Franklin and Trey Harris to full strength. As Judkins on a dive left is tripped up at about the 10-yard line. He picked up 4. Mekhi Wingo was able to cut him down.
What you love about this offense, guys, is you can spread the defense out, and it's not like you're just running downhill without bubbles in the defense. Right now, Ole Miss is putting these guys all the way out to the sidelines and allowing Judkins to knife through the defense.
Dart, a little button hook out to about the 17-yard line. 5 yards shy of a first down. A gain of 7 as Trey Harris makes the catch. So a third down inside their own 20-yard line for Ole Miss.
And when it comes to third downs for this Ole Miss offense, it really does start with Jordan Watkins. If it's zone coverage and if it's man, they want to work number 9, Trey Harris, on those one-on-one matchups.
5-man rush, batted ball up in the air, incomplete on the blitz. It was Major Burns. And it will be a punt from deep in their own end for Ole Miss.
Anytime you see a safety lined up on the line of scrimmage with his ears pinned back, know that he is coming on a pressure. Jackson Dart right there has to find a way to manipulate his arm angle to get that pass off, because Major Burns has been all over the field all year wreaking havoc.
Up against the sideline, a fair catch called for and made by Gregory Clayton Jr. 41-yard punt right in front of the LSU bench. Good field position for LSU when we come back. Bob Wischusen, Robert Griffin III, Chris Budden back at Ole Miss. An effective blitz here by Major Burns, but you think there's a little Patrick Mahomes that could happen here for Jackson Dart?
Oh, 100%. You see Jackson Dart right there. He's just throwing the football as if Major Burns isn't there. But when you have a guy pressuring you, you have to give ground and then use that arm angle to get it around Bob's spot right here and get the ball to your receiver. You can't throw it as if the guy isn't there. Play the game, not what your technique tells you to do.
Around the bald spot, easier said than done. Great field position after that exchange for LSU as Logan Diggs picks up 4 on first down. So LSU with the ball, second down and 6 at their own 45-yard line.
Defense helped them out getting the ball back. They want to make sure that they maintain balance and don't get spoiled by only throwing the football to these dynamic receivers.
Slant, and it's caught. Mason Taylor lowers his shoulder and gets across the 50-yard line. It looks to be about a half-yard shy of a first down. Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste made the stop.
I love the assertiveness that we're seeing from Jaden Daniels. Not only this year, but certainly in this game. He's getting the ball out of his hands with the quickness. He knows what he's seeing and making decisions.
Downhill run, a push for Logan Diggs, and a first down.
You keep saying that name, Logan Diggs, and I'm like, man, that sounds so familiar. Wasn't this guy just at Notre Dame? I feel like Chris could kind of chime in here and talk about the story of Logan Diggs coming over from Notre Dame a year after Kelly left.
I'll get down to Chris as soon as we can. John Emery is in the game now to the left of Jaden Daniels. Play action. Again, good protection. Daniels out of the pocket. Dodges a couple of tacklers and picks up an extra 3 or 4 yards as he slipped in between Jean-Baptiste and Ladarius Tennyson for 7.
That is the classic find two, split two. Right here, Jaden Daniels drops back. He sees it. They've got the bracket coverage on the outside. No indecision. Find two, split two, get down the field. He has a dynamic runner. He can't get away from that.
Emery with a nice jump cut to the outside and a stiff arm. Stays on his feet and eventually gets thrown out of bounds by John Saunders Jr.
And you'll see, great blocking up front by the big boys, but John Emery's ability to let it develop and then get outside, use the stiff arm, but oh my goodness, we don't like to see that at the end of the run. You certainly want to stay on your feet there, man. Good run, but let's finish stronger next time.
John Emery stays in the game. First down at the 27. Quarterback run for Daniels. And he jukes for about 2 to the 25. Ladarius Tennyson, who is a very effective box safety and Auburn transfer. At 5'9", 200 pounds, has no problems coming up and playing near the line of scrimmage.
No problems at all. And it's all hands on deck right now for that Ole Miss defense when it comes to number 5, Jaden Daniels. No matter what he's doing, they're keeping an eye on him everywhere because he is truly a game-breaking talent.
So far, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. have been quiet. They are at the bottom of your screen to the widest side. Trips to the field. Second down and 8. Play clock winding down. They have to call timeout. So the Tigers avoid a delay of game. They call the timeout. Next Saturday, we will have the 119th playing of the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma, Texas at the Cotton Bowl. Noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ABC and the ESPN app.
Oh, let's look at this real quick. We got some notable Heisman candidates. Michael Penix Jr. is leading the way for me. Caleb Williams, what a day he had today, throwing 6 touchdown passes against Colorado. But Quinn Ewers, Jordan Travis, Bo Nix, all these guys have positioned themselves to be in the conversation. But as we get deeper and deeper into conference play, we'll truly start to see who is the cream of the crop. Even a guy like Jaden Daniels with a win today could put himself in that conversation.
After this play, I want to enter someone else into the chat.
Okay.
Back to throw is Daniels. To the sideline, incomplete. Brian Thomas, the intended receiver. How about Ray Davis at Kentucky?
Ooh.
All he did was rip off 280 yards and 3 touchdowns against Florida today. The #1 rushing performance, I believe, in FBS so far this season.
Yes.
A performance like that at least has to get you entering the conversation.
Yes, 100% it does. I'm not a guy that only puts quarterbacks in my Heisman rankings, and what Ray Davis did today was otherworldly.
That's big of you as a bitter old quarterback. I thought different. Third down and 8. Daniels out of the pocket. He's going to try and run for it. Breaking tackles. The ball is out. He gets popped. He lost the football. Dejon Anthony with a big open field hit, and Ole Miss has a takeaway.
Oh, holy guacamole. Watch this hit right here by Dejon Anthony. He said, get that man some milk. Pop that ball right out of there. When we talked to Ole Miss defensive coordinator Pete Golden, he said it's going to be a turnover type of game. And right there, they got exactly what they were looking for.
After the takeaway, back to work, Jackson Dart. Ole Miss starts from their own 29. Nice play action fake. Dart slings one to the sideline. He's got a hookup with Jordan Watkins out to midfield.
Looks like Jackson Dart heard us talking about that arm angle, because right there, he just unleashed a beauty on the run, right on the outside of the receiver. Poetry in motion.
Dayton Wade on the bubble screen, across the 50. Run out at the LSU 44. That's a gain of 7.
And Bob, after a big change of possession like that, this is an important drive for the LSU defense to be able to calm themselves down. Right? You don't want to give up too many big plays, and certainly don't want to give up any points.
Ulysses Bentley breaks a tackle. He's off to the races. Looking for the end zone. He finds pay dirt. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
Wow. We just said, calm themselves down. Don't give up any big plays. The offense gives up the turnover. The defense gives up the big run.
The first touchdown drive for Ole Miss was a 14-play, 75-yard march. This time, 3 plays, 71 yards.
You're going to see it right here. Ulysses Bentley's going to ride the wave, and then he's going to create the wave. Getting out into the open field, he put some 24s on that bad boy and got himself into the end zone. Just the patience, the contact balance right there at the second level. And then when you see DBs putting their head down and trying to run fast, that's how you know they're not going to catch it. You just know it's over.
Ulysses Bentley, who obviously is second on the depth chart to Quinshon Judkins, but when he was at SMU, not only was he second team All-AAC back in the 19 season, or rather the 2020 season, he was co-rookie of the year in that league. So that is a really nice 1-2 punch to be able to bring Bentley in to spell Judkins when necessary. Touchback on the kickoff, and now a quick word from Verbo.
Verbo, a place that rewards your loyalty on every rental. Football away, baby.
Now, based on our time together, I can't believe that that lady was not painting the face of RG3 poolside. Every 15-second spot, I'm just conditioned to expect your $1 million smile there with another cha-ching.
You know what? I appreciate the shout-out, Bob. We'll make sure we get you some Cheez-Its for sure.
As long as those samples keep coming. Well, let's see the response now from LSU, down by a couple of scores. Logan Diggs bounces outside, shakes and bakes, and gets hit hard once again. Now to the 29-yard line, Aisheem Young came over and made the stop. Down to Chris.
Bob, talking with Brian Kelly before the game about the consistency of his quarterback. He said yes, but last week it was for 3 quarters. He tends to have these slow starts. What we need in this environment is a fast start for him.
Well, he's number 1 in the SEC in passing yards per game and touchdown passes. And he had a big response last week, as did their entire team when they fell down early to Arkansas. There's Malik Neighbors on the quick out. That should be good enough for a first down. To Arkansas last week, they maintained their composure and they found a way to fight all the way through 4 quarters and win that game.
Yeah, you know, to Chris's point, Coach Kelly told us that, you know, Jaden Daniels has these slow starts, but he's gotten better this year. Last year, it would have taken him 4 quarters to get out of it. Against Arkansas, it only took a half, but right now they really need him to put his foot on the gas.
Over the middle, in stride, there's Neighbors. First down, a gain of 24 to the Ole Miss 40.
And you know, when you feel like you gotta put that foot on the gas, ain't nobody better to throw to than Malik Neighbors. Jaden Daniels goes through his reads. He's not staring down his receiver. He's looking at the defense, and he's knifing through him with passes.
Swing pass, scooped up by Diggs. That's It's another LSU first down, a gain of 12.
You know, as a quarterback, when you see one completion turn into two, when you have such a negative play happen, like on the last series for Daniels with the fumble, you want to come back out and show your team that, listen, I am that guy. I'm going to get us right. That was on me. And right now, Jaden Daniels is doing just that.
Up the middle goes Diggs. Into the red zone. Down. Another tackle for Isheem Young. The Rebels have the 14-0 lead, and they've got a heck of a record under Lane Kiffin when leading by 14 or more. The only loss last year in Baton Rouge.
I know all Ole Miss fans are mad right now.
Well, we'll see if past his prologue. Here comes a blitz. Daniels has a one-on-one in the back of the end zone, climbing the ladder, and hauling it in is Thomas for the touchdown. Over the top of DeAndre Prince. Brian Thomas Jr. How pretty was that?
Oh my goodness, it was very pretty. And as a quarterback, that makes you want to throw to a guy like that even more. Watch him go up, high point the ball, pull it close to him, and get both feet in. Not only would that have counted here in college football, but that counts in the NFL. That man right there, Brian Thomas Jr., he's a Sunday guy. And I ain't talking about ice cream.
The touchdown has been confirmed as Brian Thomas Jr. for the 6th time this season and the 3rd time in the last couple of weeks is able to score and cap a 6-play 75-yard touchdown drive for LSU. That's the response that Brian Kelly was looking for. It's now 14-7 with just under a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. And today at 7:30 Eastern, drawing in on kickoff between Notre Dame and Duke as the Irish look to bounce back from a heartbreaker last week at home to Ohio State. Blue Devils, ranked number 17. All of a sudden, is Duke a football school? We're about to find out later on tonight. Wallace Wade Stadium at ABC. The Blue Bloods looking pretty good in football, although Kansas right now is having a tough time in Austin.
Yeah, we always say football is king, and we got some of these basketball schools saying, you know what? We're a football school too, and I actually love it. I think it's great for the game of college football. I think it's great for the game of college basketball.
Good news on the officiating front, by the way. Paul Myers, the umpire, is okay. They checked him out on the sideline, and he has returned to the field.
So what you're saying is he just shook it off?
Bentley watches the diver kick sail into the end zone for a touchback. Well, these are the 2 most potent offenses, points per game wise so far this year in the SEC. So we knew both defenses would be stressed in this game.
Yes, we did. And that's why we talked about in the keys being a red zone rebel. It didn't just refer to Ole Miss, it's both teams. When these teams are driving on you, you want to force them to kick field goals, because if you just get that one time, it could be the difference in the outcome of the game. When you talk about LSU and the way they just responded, sometimes you got to get hit in the mouth before you start to wake up, and the LSU certainly is awake now.
Quinshon Judkins, boy, he's tough to bring down. He ran through contact behind the line of scrimmage, and then again near the line of scrimmage, and picked up about 7.
Quinshon Judkins right now is running like a man possessed. You know, a guy that hasn't really got going yet this year. He's making the most of every time he tries to touch the football.
This time, close to a first down, brought down about 1.5 yards shy. Well, Herschel Walker is the only player in SEC history to have had a better freshman year than Quinshon Judkins last season.
That's a big name.
That's not bad company to keep. On 3rd down, Dart has time. He's out of the pocket, and the seas part. He slides well past the first down line to gain.
That's the benefit of having a quarterback who can use his legs. Watch Jackson Dart go through his progression. Left, right, right. No one's there. All right, I'm going to pull it down, put my foot in the ground, get vertical.
Over the middle again, in stride, behind the defense, Jordan Watkins. Painter, touchdown, 63 yards.
I want you guys to watch what this play fake does to these two defenders on the defense. It makes them settle their feet. And as Jackson goes through his read, it opens up the middle of the field. Jordan Watkins gets there in a hurry, and he does the rest. But never underestimate the importance of that little token play action fake of what it can do to the defense.
Jackson Dart, 10 of 12, 134 yards, and his second touchdown. That one to Jordan Watkins. Not a bad first quarter.
Not a bad first quarter at all. And I got to be honest with you, Bob. I'm pretty excited about the amount of points that we're getting to see right now. You know, we call the game like we see it, but it's been a couple weeks since we really had good offensive play. And to see both of these teams lighting up the scoreboard, of course, Ole Miss more than LSU right now, it just lets you know that that moniker, that defense is the most important thing in the SEC, maybe might not be so true anymore. The offenses are starting to take over the conference.
This kick down to the 3-yard line is returnable for Caleb Jackson. And he gets to the 22 before being tripped up. Let's check in with Matt Barrett.
Gentlemen, good evening. Time now for your AT&T 5G studio update. Back and forth game. Auburn and Georgia tied at 20, late fourth quarter. Carson back to who else? Brock Bowers. He gives Georgia the lead 27-20. Auburn with the ball, 4th and 9.
Well, if Georgia can survive against Auburn, if LSU were to come back against Ole Miss, at the end of the season, RG3, in this league, those margins of victories tend to fade into the background.
Yes.
Right? If you win your games in the SEC, you have a chance to go to the college football playoff.
You do, and listen, it's a very talented league. So if you win, winning's enough in this one.
John Emery up the middle. And that will end the first quarter as Joshua Harris made the stop after a gain of 8. Ole Miss, 3 first quarter touchdowns, 2 through the air, courtesy of Jackson Dart. Start of the second quarter, 21-7. Ole Miss has the lead on LSU. And a moment ago, Brian Kelly spoke with Chris.
Coach, you guys have come back from some slow first quarters before. What will you need in this next 15 minutes?
Well, we got to execute. I mean, we missed a tackle on a counter play, and, you know, we don't insulate on a simple switch vertical. So, you know, we got to play football and you know, make the simple plays. We don't have to do anything outstanding. We just got to play football and make the corrections and come out here and obviously respond here offensively.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Well, to Brian Kelly's point, off to a good start on this drive. They pick up a first down. John Emery, that's about as simple as a swing pass gets. Well executed.
Exactly. They got the defense caught inside, outflanked them, and John Emery did the rest, getting a positive gain down the sideline.
Ole Miss shows blitz. Are they going to come after Jaden Daniels? They are. Daniels tries to buy time in the pocket, and the blitz gets home. Tyree Coleman gets the sack, a loss of 7.
Pete Golden told us that he was going to have a show package, but right here he didn't just show, they went. And Tyree Coleman does a nice job fighting off the offensive lineman's block, number 69, Charles Turner III, and getting to the quarterback. They really do believe that they can attack the center to the right side of this offensive line with Charles Turner III, Miles Frazier, and Emory Jones Jr. to make them have to block one-on-ones that aren't favorable.
Now it's 2nd and long. This time a 4-man rush. Quarterback run right up the middle. Goes Jaden Daniels. He's got the first down and more. Daniels hunting the pylon. Down the sideline into the red zone before he's finally run out by Zamari Walton. At the 10-yard line. He picks up 55.
Right here, simple quarterback draw. Running back leads up on the linebacker, center leads up on the other linebacker, and then Jaden Daniels does the rest. He is such a quick speed guy that as soon as he puts his foot in the ground, he makes defenders not realize how fast he is moving. Nice job by Daniels using his athleticism to get down the field for a big game.
After that long run by Daniels, we've got an injured member of the Ole Miss defense. We'll step aside.
During Fun Day Football, Sunday at 9:30 a.m. on ESPN+.
And yes, indeed, kick off your Week 4 NFL Sunday at a special time of 8:30 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN. And why? Well, that's because the London games kick off at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on ESPN+. Falcons, Jaguars at Wembley Stadium. To get ESPN+, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. 1st and goal for the Bayou Bengals. Logan Diggs at the 5. Logan Diggs getting a push. Did he get the goal line? He did not. Inside the 1. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
That's how you move your legs as a running back. Watch him come through the line, follow his blockers, and then power. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving them.
Diggs again, across the goal line. There's the LSU touchdown. Logan Diggs, his 2nd of the year. Another answer for LSU.
And this one is just good old-fashioned smash mouth football. Running downhill, you reach contact, fall forward, Logan Diggs for the touchdown. Amazing response for this LSU offense. You know, Bob, one of the keys for Ole Miss's defense was to contain the quarterback and to contain the receivers. And the 2 times that LSU has scored, it's because they didn't contain Jaden Daniels on that quarterback draw, and you had the nice throw to Brian Thomas Jr. in the end zone. They got to lock in to some of the most important aspects of this game if they want to win it.
We have a 7-point game once again. A 6-play touchdown drive. Set up by Jaden Daniels. Dangerous in the open field. 55-yard scamper. He got them to the 10-yard line, and then 2 carries by Logan Diggs. Result.
ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts, is brought to you by Taco Bell. Download the Taco Bell app and vote for this month's Live Más student section.
Well, the football weekend begins in the Grove on Friday with the land grab, and then that student section fills in. Student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. And they rush into the student section the same way they rush into the Grove to get some real estate on Friday nights. This is one of the best spots for college football or sports period in America as we check in with Matt.
Okay, big game, Bob. It has gone final in Auburn, 4th and 9. Peyton Thorne picked off by Malachi Starks. Georgia lives to be number 1 another day. 27-20 to the final there. Don't forget, coming up 7:30 Eastern, Sam Hartman and Duke and Notre Dame over on ABC.
All right, Matt, 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. Judkins. 4 possessions so far offensively for Ole Miss, and RG3, 3 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about not allowing a bad game last week, impacting them this week. This is how you do it. They've come out, they put their foot on the pedal and said, you know what? we are going to come out here and try to win this football game in a way, in the exciting way that we know how to do it. They're taking chances. They went for it on 4th and goal. And I love to see that from Lane Kiffin. We know he's a risk taker, but right now his players are making him right.
Judkins, this time brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Greg Penn, who missed a tackle on that long run earlier, that resulted in the Bentley touchdown. Very sure on the tackle of Judkins there. That sets up 3rd down.
Bob, what we've seen from both of these offenses have been nothing short of amazing. Coming into this drive, LSU is averaging 8.3 yards a play, Ole Miss 9.7. And when you look at their rushing, 7.8 for LSU and 8.2 per rush for Ole Miss. Where is the defense so far today?
Play clock down to 7. That's about as deep as you'll see Ole Miss take it. Here comes a blitz on 3rd down. Jackson Dart buys time, slings one wide open. Caden pre-score. 1st down.
It looks like Jackson Dart learned from his mistake earlier in the game with Major Burns when he knocked it down. Right there, had a defender right in front of him. Used the arm angle to get there to Caden, pre-scoring for the 1st down.
Another blitz. It's picked up. One-on-one. A shot down the sideline. Incomplete. Excellent coverage from Denver Harris. He had his back turned, but he reacted to Dayton Wade, and it seemed like he got a hand on the football. He might be shaken up. Denver Harris to the sideline.
You see Dayton Wade right, oh, stop and go. Gets the DB, but the quarterback just doesn't put enough air underneath it now. The ball did touch his hand, so he should have caught it. But if you're the quarterback, you want to throw him out the back end right there so that you can be celebrating and striking up the band instead of sitting here in 2nd and 10.
Down and out to the sideline. Jordan Watkins hauls it in. Nearly 7. Major Burns makes the stop. So it will be 3rd down and a long 3, close to 4 for Ole Miss.
As we told you before, these are situations where they can probably run the football if they want to, but looking for Jordan Watkins as his guy.
Right at the 1st down line to gain an extra push for Trey Harris. And it looks like he's got it. He does.
Nice job by Jackson Dart, working through his progression, getting it there to Trey Harris. And Lane Kiffin told us that this guy is the true key to their offense. When he's on the field and can be a threat for them, their offense goes. And so far today, that's exactly what it's doing.
A toss to Judkins. Downhill run. He emerges from the pack. Stiff arm of Major Burns. Inside the 20. All the way down to the 15-yard line goes Quinshon Judkins. 37 on that carry.
I wish I could tell you it was something special, but watch this. It wasn't this. It's the spin move when someone tried to go for the football, utilizes the stiff arm of Major Burns. That's the Quinshon Judkins we're used to see.
Judkins again. Only 2 yards on 1st down.
You know, Bob, Quinshon ran really great almost against everybody last year. But for him to come into this ball game not really, you know, operating at a high level and doing this against LSU, it's beyond impressive.
You would not have thought his season high so far this season through the first 5 weeks would have been in the 1st half against LSU. Bouncing it outside is Bentley to the 10-yard line. Pulled down by Omar Spates, who returns to the defense this week for LSU after being out with a hip flexor.
And you bring up Omar Spates. I actually called a game for him last year when he was at Oregon State. He is a sideline to sideline linebacker, so I know they're happy to have him back. But once again, they got to try to hold Ole Miss to a field goal here.
3rd down and 6. And this might be a false start. It looks like it is.
False start on the offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
On the opening drive of the game, we saw Ole Miss get all the way down to the 4-yard line and go for it on 4th and goal from the 4, and they scored. Is this 4-down territory for them possibly here, depending on what happens with this play?
Well, it's always 4-down territory when you have Lane Kiffin as your head coach. He's just an aggressive and has an aggressive mindset. But right here, I would like to see them, you know, obviously try to get into the end zone. But if they get inside the 5, certainly they're going to go for it.
Wide open. Dayton Wade. As easy a touchdown as Ole Miss could have. The blown coverage for LSU costs them another 6.
And when you watch this, as they're coming across, watch Omar Spates. He's running man coverage with the back, but no one identifies who is on man coverage of Dayton Wade. That's the easiest touchdown he's probably going to score all season long. And I know that man right there talking to him, Lane Kiffin, is certainly saying, hey, we'll take it.
5 first-half possessions for Ole Miss and 4 touchdowns. Well, Brian Kelly said it has to be simple. We have to execute. I think it's safe to say they did not. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Well, both offenses are flying high, certainly Ole Miss especially. As Jackson Dart, 14 of 17, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers, and 4 touchdowns in 5 offensive possessions in the first half for Ole Miss. And RG3, what happened to LSU defensively?
Yeah, what it looked like is you had everyone playing man and one guy playing zone. So right here, you're going to see this is a man coverage. And then watch this guy and the corner up top. As the play develops, it looks like they're trying to pass it off, but the guy latches on and runs, and the DB is sitting there hopping in place, not guarding anybody, looking to the sideline like, man, did I miss the call? So it seems like a simple thing, but if you're going to sit there and say, all right, I'm going to wait for the crosser coming to me, you have to communicate that to your guy on the other side of the field.
Let's see if there's another response for the LSU offense. They get it started with Mason Taylor. Let's go down to Chris.
Bob Logan-Diggs, who had that touchdown just recently for LSU, transferred from Notre Dame, but he waited a year, didn't immediately follow Brian Kelly. And this is kind of unusual in today's day and age of transfer portal, because he wanted to stay and get the degree from Notre Dame. He's just a couple hours away. He already has it planned out how he's going to finish to get his degree. But if you're wondering why he didn't immediately follow Coach Kelly to Baton Rouge, it was because the degree from Notre Dame meant so much to him.
That's a great story to hear. And a laser beam shot to Malik Neighbors. Gets to the sideline. Gets a block. And out of bounds inside the 30-yard line of Ole Miss. So the big plays just keep on coming for both offenses.
Yes, they do. And right there, Jaden Daniels made all NFL scouts happy. Watch how he layers this throw over the linebacker and puts it right on the face of Malik Neighbors. And the ability to create after the catch is what also makes Neighbors so special.
Back to the ground attack with Emery. Leaps into the arms of the Land Sharks after a gain of 1. Trey Washington came up in run support.
You know, Bob, we're talking about Logan Diggs. It's a great story wanting to get his degree from Notre Dame and then coming to LSU. But one thing I've always wondered is with the transfer portal now today, how many of these young athletes are actually going to have a college football home if they're constantly changing teams year after year after year?
It's a topic that comes up weekly with the coaches when we meet with them. Play clock down to 4. It's at 2, and Jaden Daniels forced into a timeout.
It's the second timeout he's been forced into. This crowd is really making it hard for them to listen.
Under 6.5 to go before halftime.
Welcome back. There are stickers on the back of the LSU helmets with the number 3 in honor of their senior captain, Greg Brooks, who was diagnosed with a brain tumor the week after the Mississippi State game. He had surgery. He is still recovering. The good news is Brian Kelly visited him this week. He's regaining his motor skills. He recognizes people, still waiting for the pathology reports. But our thoughts and prayers for Greg Brooks right now.
Absolutely. To him and his entire family as Jaden Daniels. A little turnaround route that looks to be good enough for a first down into the red zone. as he hits Malik Neighbors. Such a scary story. To, by all accounts, a wonderful young man.
Yeah.
So, Greg Brooks, to you and your entire family, every good thought and prayer that we can send your way.
No doubt about it. We are praying for you. The game of football is a beautiful thing. It brings people together. But we don't care about the outcome of this game. We all care about what's happening with Greg Brooks, and we pray that he has a full recovery.
Blitz coming. Right up the gut. Logan Diggs. He picks up 5. Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste was there to make first contact.
Bob, one thing I'm noticing is this is a very, very physical game. So although the defenses aren't quite shutting down the offenses like we've been accustomed to seeing from SEC defenses over the years, the physicality on the field in between the tackles is still there.
Malik Neighbors in the slot left. They move him all over the field trying to avoid double teams. They run it again with Diggs. Not much. 2 yards. 3rd down and 3 at the 11-yard line with 5 minutes to go in the half.
You mentioned it before. They move Malik Neighbors all around. Look for them to try to get him involved here as they're going to go empty set and give Jaden Daniels opportunities for running lanes by spreading the defense out.
You see any deep safeties out there for Ole Miss?
Oh, no.
Will they pressure Daniels on 3rd down? Only a 4-man rush. Daniels, back right corner of the end zone. Drops it in. Thomas with a touchdown. Another perfect throw from Jaden Daniels. And Brian Thomas with a touchdown that looked like it would be good on Sundays again.
Bob, they just beat him on the same play twice. Slot fade, Brian Thomas Jr. gets his feet in there. You see the DB saying, no, let's see, 1, 2. Oh, my goodness. Go ahead, hit the line again. He's a Sunday guy, and I ain't talking about ice cream.
7-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. We've had 7 touchdown drives in this game. All have been at least 70 yards in distance. So it's not like teams have had the short field and have been victimizing the opposition based on that. These have been big play chunks, but long distance drives as well.
Yes, they have. And I want you to watch right here. Jaden Daniels' recognition is incredible. Right here, you talked about how there's no middle safety. They're playing heavy inside so they can bracket the slots. But what that does is it leaves outside matchups, even from the slot with Brian Thomas Jr. there. He works inside, goes where the DB doesn't want him to go, and gets back outside. And you see him blowing kisses to the fans, letting them know, even when you double me, you can't stop me.
Brian Thomas Jr. now with 7 touchdown receptions this season. Jaden Daniels up to 14 touchdown passes as we head back to Matt.
I have your Chick-fil-A move on the field, and this was right out of the gate. First play from the scrimmage, Billy Bauman Jr. Oski. 45 yards later, I'll tell you what, this Oklahoma defense is peaking at the right time ahead of Texas next week. First things first, up on Iowa State 7-0.
And we're on a collision course for a great Red River rivalry game next week, no question about it. So Ole Miss back to the offense. They've been unstoppable. And they start with a handoff to Ulysses Bentley. Ole Miss last week against Alabama, 301 yards of total offense in the game.
Okay,
301.
Talk to me.
They are now up to 319 yards of offense in the first 26 minutes of this game.
Ooh.
Jackson Dart. Incomplete. Short hopped it to Bentley. Let's check in with Chris.
And Bob, watching this LSU defense on the sidelines that last series, they looked shell-shocked, just sitting there, no one communicating with each other, no one talking, almost looking completely surprised at the result of these first 2 quarters.
Well, Ole Miss came into today only 35% on 3rd down. at the bottom of the SEC standings. They're 5 for 7 here in the first half. A blitz for LSU. Dart beats the blitz. Wide open. Trey Harris off to the races. Finally gotten on the ground at the 15-yard line by Andre Sam. 56 more yards for Ole Miss.
We talked about Trey Harris and how important he is to this offense. Watch him set up the DB, catch it, and explode after the catch. You talked about Andre Sam getting him on the ground, and we don't like that, Sam Miami. He does not like to see that big receiver running down the field.
A flag down on the run by Quinshon Judkins.
Man.
Holding, number 67 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Bob, I say man because we just listened to Chris on the sideline talking about how LSU's defense was so demoralized. Well, we all knew coming into this game their secondary was struggling. But right now, it's not just the secondary that's struggling. They're struggling tackling inside the box. They're getting the ball run right down their throats. So when you say, I mean, this is the strength of our team, our D-line, our front seven, and they're getting dominated, how's that going to make your DBs feel? And right now, the DBs are not tackling like they haven't been all year.
They run it with Judkins on 1st and 20. And he is grabbed around the waist by Whit Weeks, the true freshman linebacker who played very well in place of Omar Spates when he was hurt. Only a 2-yard gain. Play action. Dart over the middle. Those crossing routes continue to dice up the secondary of LSU. This time it's Jordan Watkins.
Man. And what I'm loving seeing from both of these quarterbacks is they're not just zeroing in on one guy right after a play fake or during their drop. They're working full, pure progression reads from left of the field to the right of the field and having that grip it and rip it mentality when they see guys open. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Long 3rd down, long throw outside the numbers to the 10-yard line. The completion there for Zachary Franklin. And now we saw on the opening drive, 4th and 4, and Lane Kiffin did not hesitate to go for it. Now it's 4th down at about 5. This time it looks like he's going to settle for 3. So a red zone stop for the LSU defense, helped out by that holding penalty.
There you go. It feels like the only way that both of these offenses are stopping or being stopped is by themselves, right? Turnover by LSU, they get stopped, or they shoot themselves in the foot with a penalty. Same for Ole Miss, getting in the 1st and 20.
27-yard field goal attempt is through for Caden Davis. So it is now 31 on the board for Ole Miss as we check in with Matt Barrett.
There we go. We got a fantastic Mercedes-Benz halftime report coming up. A Brock party for Georgia at the end of their game, plus a ray of sunshine for Kentucky. And Caleb Williams enjoys a 6-pack against Colorado. We'll explain. Dan Mullen, Joey Galloway join me coming up at the Mercedes-Benz halftime report.
All right, Matt, thanks very much. Who knows what might happen before the halftime report? We've had just this boring 52-point half so far with 1:42 on the clock. Ended timeout for LSU.
Yep.
As quickly as both of these offenses have scored, and the chunk plays that we've seen, that's an eternity for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, I think the reason that Lane Kiffin decided to kick that is because he knows that LSU is getting the ball when we come out of halftime. We want to get as many point lead as he possibly can going into that second half.
We've got next Saturday's Week 6 SEC Network college football lineup for you. Mississippi State hosts Western Michigan in Starkville at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. That starts the day, and then Florida will want to bounce back against Vandy in the Swamp. And we cap the day with Arkansas taking on these Rebels, as number 20 Ole Miss in our SEC Saturday night matchup will take on the Hogs. All 3 games available on the ESPN app.
Right here for Jaden Daniels, you want to make sure you don't hold on to the football too long. Don't take a sack. Those can really prohibit your ability to run a 2-minute offense.
Only a 3-man rush. Coming back is Brian Thomas. Turns upfield. Yards after the catch again for Brian Thomas Jr. He picks up 15.
You know, there's a good narrative that Brian Thomas Jr. is benefiting from Malik Neighbors, but he's starting to come into his own and really establishing himself as one of those true #1 wide receivers.
Daniels. Guess who? Brian Thomas Jr.
You know, it was funny when we talked with DC for Ole Miss, Pete Golden. He said that, you know, he recruited both of these guys, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. And he always felt that Brian Thomas had a higher ceiling, and we're starting to see him come into his own, like I said before. But that's got to be an exciting proposition for Jaden Daniels going through the rest of this year. And I know the NFL scouts are watching this game and just licking their chops.
Jaden Daniels has hit on 11 straight. They bring a blitz. Well protected. Out of the pocket. And scoots out of bounds. That'll stop the clock at the 38-yard line of Ole Miss. They'll actually mark him out closer to the 37 with 1:19 in the half. And LSU still with a timeout.
Yes, they do. And I talked about it before at the beginning of the drive. Don't hold on to the football too long. And if you're going to scramble, obviously make sure you get positive yards that are worth it. The clock is not your friend right now. You got to get out of bounds. You got to push the ball down the field. But like I said before, do not take a sack here in this situation.
And now we see Neighbors and Thomas switch sides. Neighbors out to the right. And Thomas widest to the near side left. Daniels, quarterback draw. Brought down inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. And of course, inside of the last 2 minutes of each half, back to the old college football rules. So you see the clock stop for a moment, and now it starts again. 1:07 to go in the half. Daniels, he's going to take a shot. Kyron Lacey, he's got it. That's an LSU touchdown. Right down the chimney. Jaden Daniels to Kyron Lacey, 29 yards.
Oh my God. That's just unbelievable, man. 3 touchdowns, all 3 the same box fade route, and Jaden Daniels is dropping it in the bucket. Look at that beauty. Kyron Lacey barely has to even raise his hands up. That's how perfect of a throw that was.
I have a problem with their strategy. They left Ole Miss way too much time.
Goodness.
58 seconds and 3 timeouts. That's terrible clock management by LSU.
Bob, I'm just having a great time. These guys are absolutely balling right now on the offensive side of the ball.
These offenses are scoring too quickly. Damian Ramos, another extra point. What a first half. 31-28, Ole Miss on top. Eight touchdown drives between the two offenses. And again, all have traveled at least 70 yards. And as we take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Capital One. Georgia survived at Auburn. That's probably the best way to put it. Michigan, no problem against Nebraska. Texas eventually pulled away from Kansas, as did Penn State, although they struggled early at Northwestern. And right now, Oregon in an early hole against Stanford. Utah, they went down last night to Oregon State.
Yeah, they did. Shout out to my guy, Rich Eisen. Bowl. My guys at Bussin' with the Boys, the podcast out there, they deemed that game that, and Michigan left no doubt on the field that they were the best team.
Well, now 58 seconds and 3 timeouts for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. The strategy of scoring so fast certainly might not pay off, because it feels right now like LSU's defense couldn't stop anything. They can't catch a cold. They can't stop anything that the Ole Miss offense is running. And like I said, it's the same strategy here for Jackson Dart. Don't take a sack. Make sure that you're getting the ball out of your hands as fast as possible. That first down in this 2-minute drive is the most important thing.
Four-man rush. Dart over the middle. Priestcorn reaches out. Incomplete. And probably the better for it, as the clock will stop with 51 seconds to go in the half. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Again, Ole Miss runs a 2-minute drill as their base offense.
Right.
They average snapping the ball every 22.4 seconds. Only Tennessee, Texas Tech, TCU, and USF are faster at getting to the line of scrimmage and snapping it than the Rebels. Up the seam, incomplete. That looked like a miscommunication. Jordan Watkins heading to the sideline, and instead Jackson Dart took a shot up the numbers.
Yeah, he did. So a couple things there. One, all the teams that you just mentioned all run the Baylor offense. They all have ties to it in some way, which is extremely up-tempo, the offense that I was blessed to play in when I was in college. Second thing, I don't know why I said important thing a couple plays ago. Seems like my accent, my Brian Kelly accent was coming out there.
Quarterback run on 3rd down. And Harold Perkins Jr. making his presence felt for the first time with 39 seconds to go in the half. And now LSU can use that final timeout. See, the genius of LSU's strategy, this is what I was getting to. They knew if they got a 3 and out, they could call timeout and get the ball back to their offense again.
And who better to do it for him to make the play than Harold Perkins Jr., the best defensive player in the SEC, which means he's the best defensive player in the country. This guy is all over the field. We've seen it today. Even though they've been gassed and they've given up a lot of points, he has still been making the plays that he's used to making.
So now let's see what kind of field position LSU gets. They actually put a few seconds back on the clock, taking it from 39 up to 42.
Right.
And if Gregory Clayton Jr. gets an opportunity to bring any kind of a return back, LSU could be within striking distance. And obviously with the clock stoppage rules, if you pick up a 1st down in college football in the last 2 minutes, they're out of timeouts, but they have struck fast.
Yeah.
Fair catch. Made in traffic at the 38-yard line with 35 seconds to go in the half.
I mean, look at Jaden Daniels just dropping dimes all day today. Brian Thomas Jr. Oh, we're going to go to him one more time, Brian Thomas Jr. And then he finds the Wi-Fi connection and airdrops a beauty in there to Kyron Lacey. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I don't know why he's not higher on draft boards. I don't know why he's not being talked about for conversation for the Heisman. Like, obviously, if they win this game, he'll certainly be there, at least for me. But the guy has really shown that it's not just the experience that he has of playing and starting so many games. He has become a true quarterback.
3-man rush. Daniels buying time. Sidearms want to flip, and it's broken up. Kyron Lacey had it in his hands, and it was jarred free by Deshaun Gaddy Jr.
Right here, Gaddy's going to separate the man from the ball legally. Does a nice form hit there, jarring the ball loose. And now you're sitting here in 2nd and long with 27 seconds left in the game. Your LSU getting a completion here and getting down the field is as simple and the thing that they need to do for sure.
A blitz flushes Daniels out of the pocket again, crosses body. This time he finds Brian Thomas.
There you go.
And he gets to midfield. That stops the clock. 17 seconds to go. Let's see if LSU wants to run up and spike it to try and preserve time. It looks like they will. There is the spike. That cost them 3 seconds.
Nice.
So I guess you're probably thinking more field goal range now than end zone from midfield with 14 seconds to go?
Well, I mean, with 14 seconds, like you said, the clock can still stop if you get a 1st down. So they get a 1st down. They can throw this ball wherever they want to as long as they get up to the line of scrimmage and spike it. 14 seconds is enough time. Jaden Daniels just cannot hold on to the football.
Josh Williams in motion. Daniels over the middle. It's Thomas Jr. again. Breaks a tackle, and he gives himself up with 7 seconds. Down to 6 seconds, and they will have time to get set and spike it. Now, we talked to Brian Kelly about the length that he would feel comfortable with Damian Ramos from.
Right.
He said he's hit from 52 to 55 at times in practice. His career long is 47, but we think he can make a kick end of half from this distance. That's exactly where they got the ball to. Ramos, it looks like, will try from 55.
And if LSU can go into halftime tied, that would be a win for the first half, especially the way that the defense has played. But that's the beauty of the college rules. Because they get that first down and the clock stops, you don't have to run sideline plays like you do in the NFL. Let's see if it all pays off and he can knock this one through.
This is his first career attempt from 50 plus. Will it reach the crossbar? It will not. It comes up short. Well, this shootout of a first half goes to Ole Miss, but only by a field goal. 31-28. The Rebels have the lead at the break. It's time for the halftime report with Joey Galloway and Dan Mullen. Let's send it back to Matt Barrett.
Big game, Bob. Thank you. We're catching our breath here in studio watching this first half. And
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. It might be quiet elsewhere in Oxford, but at the Vaught, it has been anything but. It's been quiet outside, but inside, plenty of noise, a lot of touchdowns. 31-28, Ole Miss on top of LSU. Bob Wischusen here with Robert Griffin III. Chris Button is with us as well. And let's get right to our Mark of a Fighter moments, brought to you by Modelo. Both of these offenses have had to fight back because their defenses have given up a lot of body blows.
Yes, they've given up a lot of body blows. We talked about how it was going to be fireworks on the field, and that's exactly what the offense has delivered. A combined 59 points, and the amount of yards, we might see 1,000 yards in this game, which is just unheard of. The quarterbacks are operating at an extremely high level. Jaden Daniels keeps dropping them in the bucket on these box fades, and it doesn't matter what receiver it is. They're all playing out of their minds.
On the run back to start off the second half. Field position will not be on LSU's side as Caleb Jackson has nowhere to go. All right, so both of these defensive coordinators, as we have an injured Ole Miss Rebel on the kick return. So while this injury timeout takes place, we will step aside and come right back. Injured for Ole Miss on kick coverage was Ishim Young, but it was good to see he was able to walk off the field. And they are taking him back to the Rebels locker room. So we'll keep you updated on his condition. Right back to the offense is LSU, set to go from their own 15-yard line. That's Mason Taylor in motion. On the ground, it's Diggs. Dives ahead for 6. Down to Chris.
Well, for Lane Kiffin, it was pretty simple. Good offense, bad defense. He said defensively we're getting caught on too many mismatches, that it's exposing us. And when we met with him yesterday regarding the offense, he said, listen, that 10 points we put up against Alabama, it ain't going to cut it. We're going to have to put up a lot more than that, which the question is, will 60 be enough tonight?
Well, he's not going to be happy with the fact that his team was just flagged 15 yards for a face masking penalty on the carry by Diggs. So what was a modest 6-yard gain now becomes a 21-yard play and brings LSU all the way out to their own 36-yard line. Jaden Daniels in the flat to Diggs. Tumbles down at the 43. He's got 7. Zamari Walton made the stop.
You know, you talk about them, you know, hurting themselves with these penalties. And one thing they said that they wanted to do was make LSU earn it. And right now, that's not really what they're doing. And the mismatches are being created because Pete Golding doesn't want to give their receivers free access. But they're going to have to do that so that they're not giving up so many big plays.
Diggs, he's got a first down. all the way out to midfield. Well, LSU has the ball, so we'll start this with Ole Miss.
Yes.
If you are Pete Golding, what are your defensive adjustments in the second half to try and slow the Bayou Bengals down?
Well, the #1 adjustment is play no more man coverage, okay? Because you're a man down every single time you line up with all these wide receivers.
Daniels. They may have to account for quarterback run as well, as Daniels is breaking tackles, and he gets walloped out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That will be another personal foul called against Ole Miss on this drive.
Oh, my Atlanta.
Dejon Anthony will cost his team 15 more.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds, number 3 on the defense. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Dejon Anthony is the same one who got the big hit earlier in the game that caused the fumble. But when the quarterback is already out of bounds, he stepped foot, 2 feet out of bounds. Second one's about to come down. You cannot make that hit. Pull off. It's hurting your team. Right now, Ole Miss is doing everything the wrong way to start the second half.
Logan Diggs downhill, barreling inside the 10-yard line down to the 8. First and goal. He took Kyrie Coleman for a ride.
That is one thing that Logan Diggs can do. You see them cut the defense with the blocking scheme. He lowers his pad level and falls forward. He continues to do that the entire game.
They go right back to him. Nowhere to go that time. Into a pile-up at the 7-yard line. Cedric Johnson was there to make the stop.
And you asked the question of what should Ole Miss's defense do? We talked to Pete Golding. He said he was going to do a little bit more drop 8 to keep eyes on the quarterback and also not put his DBs and safeties in bad situations. I'd like to see him do that again here. He's had a tendency to play more man in these crucial situations in the red zone.
False start. That will cost LSU 5.
False start, 72 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Garrett Dellinger called for the false start. That's the first LSU penalty.
And we saw what happened in the first half when Ole Miss and or LSU got into the red zone. They had penalties that pushed them back. It prevented them from being able to score touchdowns. You know, one thing that Pete Golding told us is he wants his team to be fast, physical, and smart. Right now, they've been fast and physical. They just haven't been smart, and some of that's also starting to trickle over to LSU and that offensive line with that false start penalty.
Daniels scans the field, tucks it under at the 5-yard line. Looking for the goal line, driven back, just shot. Inside the 1 on the scamper by Jaden Daniels. And they're going to line up quickly to get set at the 1-yard line. Josh Williams to the right of Daniels, but we have an injured Ole Miss player, and there is frustration from the LSU offense. They're reacting like this is a delay tactic. That's J.J. Pegues that is down and hurt. I can understand LSU's reaction, but I don't know that J.J. Pegues is a player that at the goal line Ole Miss would want off the field.
Yeah, typically when you see guys go down because they're trying to give their defense a chance to rest, it's not one of your best players that's doing that. But you're going to see J.J. Pegues right here take a knee. You know, maybe he got hit somewhere and needed to catch a breath. I don't know. Sometimes there's that delayed reaction. He's in the trenches right there. They're fighting. Maybe he got kneed in the crotch or something. Who knows?
Right. Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know.
I don't think Brian Kelly is buying that potential argument.
He's definitely not, and he's certainly not listening to us right now. But they wanted to get back on the ball and run the play right there so they could catch Ole Miss's defense while they were reeling. And there's a massive difference with Jaden Daniels in the way that he runs compared to other athletic quarterbacks. His quick twitch is eerily similar to a guy that I had the opportunity to be a teammate with in Lamar Jackson. He can really make guys miss inside of a phone booth.
The quarterback sneak with a push for Daniels from Josh Williams behind. No signal yet. That is a touchdown for LSU.
Well, I've got to say, it is a copycat league. And in the NFL, we've seen the Philadelphia Eagles use this tactic to get first downs in short yardage situations and touchdowns on the goal line. And right there, LSU taking it from the NFL back to college with the tush push.
A couple of times in the first half, Ole Miss had a 14-point lead. LSU now takes the lead for the first time, 35-31. Another long touchdown drive. 8 plays, 85 yards, and Jaden Daniels got it done with his legs.
Yes, he did. You see the quickness there. Then they get down to the goal line, and they pull out the tush push. And that's not the nickname I gave it. That's what the Eagles call it. Touchdown, baby.
ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts, is brought to you by Taco Bell. Download the Taco Bell app and vote for this month's Live Más student section.
A halftime celebration as Eli Manning was back with David Cutcliffe and the rest of the 2003 Rebels honored for their 20-year reunion. They won the Cotton Bowl that year, and they shared the SEC West title with an LSU team that would eventually win the national championship. So great to see Eli back in Oxford as we go back to Matt Barrett.
Bob was using a great time to have the ESPN app because all the night games have kicked off. Notre Dame early lead on Duke on ABC. West Virginia and TCU, the Frogs have just scored. And South Carolina has just taken a 10-7 lead on Tennessee. And Virginia Tech up early on Pittsburgh on ACC Network.
And, of course, after we're done, we will head right to Alabama and their next game against Mississippi State. So the SEC West champions back in 2003, Eli, David Cutcliffe, and the rest of these Rebels. And what a shootout we have had so far. LSU with a 4-point lead. Back to the offense for the first time here in the second half. Quinshon Judkins picking right up where he left off in the first half. He's got 12 before he's brought down by Andre Sam.
Yes, he does. A little inside zone action there. And you know who would make Barry proud is the guy we saw last night at the Square, Charlie Perkins, the man who gave Eli Manning his very first snap in college. It was great to meet him. He was having a good time.
Judkins again, this time only a yard. All right, how about an LSU defensive adjustment to try and slow down the Ole Miss offense?
Well, you've already seen the first 2 plays here. LSU's defense is simply just getting run over at the point of attack. Something that their defensive coordinator, Matt House, did not think could happen in this game because they looked at Ole Miss's offensive line as a weakness. So far today, it's been a strength, and it's set up the play-action pass for everything they've been doing in the passing game.
Trey Harris with a drop and took a hit and squared off with Omar Speights after that hit, 3rd down and 9.
So you talked about how bad Ole Miss was at Alabama on 3rd downs, 3 for 14, and it was because they were in these types of situations. A drop here or there in a spread offense like this one puts you behind the sticks and hurts your offense badly.
Blitz coming. Catch me. Pre-scoring with a first down. Carrying tacklers into plus territory.
And that's a plus right there from Jackson Dart. You get pressure right up the middle. You throw it to the vacated spot from where the guy that blitzed, and now your offense is rolling again.
Here goes Judkins, and the quick pace of Ole Miss, I think, trapped LSU with 12 on the field.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 12 players on the field for the ball snap. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
I think it was Harold Perkins, and he wasn't in a full sprint to leave the field.
It's an uncharacteristic play right there from Harold Perkins. Normally always hustling on and off the field. And this Ole Miss offense is really killing them with the tempo.
The toss to Judkins on 1st and 5. He has a first down and more. Cut down inside the 30. 14 yards before Andre Sam finally brought him down. And it looks like Andre Sam is down as he took the worst of that hit with Quinshon Judkins. Spates slow to get up. So Omar Spates, who had been out with a hip flexor, he limped off the field, and Andre Sam is still down, surrounded by the LSU training staff. So a couple of players on the back end of the LSU defense hurt on this play.
Yeah, you're going to see the hit.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. And we've got several injuries to update you on from the LSU sideline. You saw Omar Spates making his way into the injury tent. Here's Ulysses Bentley up the middle, flag thrown from behind the play as he gets to the 22-yard line. Andre Sam and Obi Agufo, they were all injured on that last play for LSU, although it looked like Agufo.
Number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Agufo and Sam looked like they were able to shake off their respective injuries, and in fact, Andre Sam is back on the field.
Correct, and now we see here with another holding call. These teams seem to only be slowing themselves down with the penalties, and I just want to showcase with an offense like this, everyone thinks, oh, it's up-tempo. They're throwing the football all over the yard. It's the running game that really makes offenses like this go, and until LSU can stop them from running the football, it's not going to be any prettier for them for the rest of the game.
In the first half, we had 3 total penalties. We've already had 5 total here in the third quarter as Judkins finds a cutback lane and gets tripped up. Ankle tackle made by Harold Perkins. And there was a lot of room for Judkins. It seemed like if Perkins didn't make that tackle, as Spates is out of the injury tent, but not back on the field yet. He had been out with a hip flexor, and Whit Weeks had been playing in his place. He's out there now, and the pass rush gets home for LSU, but it's flipped back to Judkins by Jackson Dart. The play was allowed to be kept alive. Harold Perkins may have missed the tackle. That could have been the sack of Jackson Dart, and Dart kept it alive.
A little Patrick Mahomes creativity here. Tied up, you know what? Just give it to your brother. Say, help a brother out. I like it.
So Harold Perkins couldn't get Dart down, and it's 3rd down and 12. Four-man rush. Dart, one-on-one. A leaping breakup at the 2-yard line. Trey Harris, the intended receiver, and Zy Alexander made the one-on-one play.
Zy Alexander made the big play at the end of the game last week for LSU. Now they try to go up top on him, and Jackson Dart just needed to throw that about 3 yards further, because that one-on-one matchup for Trey Harris is one that he can win routinely.
So Caden Davis from 47. He'll try and make this a 1-point game. It's got plenty of distance. And it's good, right down the middle. $35-34. And next week, our Monday Night Football matchup features DK Metcalf and the Seahawks squaring off against Daniel Jones and the Giants at MetLife Stadium. Eli's old team will take on Seattle at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes. And Peyton and Eli, of course, once again, will have the Manning cast of that game on ESPN2.
Oh, look at those career passing yard numbers from the great Eli Manning. It's good to see him out here. And you talk about that Monday Night Football game. We'll have Eli and Peyton on with us on Monday Night Countdown. Gonna have some really cool breakdown tapes, so make sure y'all tune in for that. Really been a fan of Eli's transition. into the media space. He's been doing a really good job, and I'm happy to be a part of that with him.
Line drive kick for a touchback. As Davis puts it through the back of the end zone. So it comes out to the 25-yard line for LSU. And let's check in with Matt Barry.
Gentlemen, something we can all get behind, the All-State Good Hands play, and we give it today to Finn Hogan. How about Bowling Green taking it to Georgia Tech, and Hogan, our All-State Good Hands, the play. Please tell me you did City Grocery last night. That's all I ask.
Do you really have to ask the fat play-by-play announcer if he went to City Grocery last night?
Oh, we definitely went to City Grocery.
Oh, that's a given. Mason Taylor gets this drive started with a 5-yard gain. I mean, shrimp and grits when you're in Oxford. I don't get that in Jersey. Let's put it that way.
Well, Bob, I've got to maintain this.
When in Rome.
I got to maintain this physique just in case your Jets call. So I had some salmon, and it was phenomenal.
Another button hook. And that should be good for a first down to Malik Neighbors. Forward progress gets him past the line to gain. His helmet pops off at the end of the play. And let's see if he is allowed to stay in the game. No, he's going to have to head off the field, as that play was not whistled dead yet.
I got to be honest, Bob. The defense definitely took his helmet off on purpose. That's one way to get one of the best players in the country off the field. But the rest need to pay attention to that next time.
Logan Diggs. Brought down after a gain of 3.5 by Ladarius Tennyson.
Now, Bob, you asked me about defensive adjustments, and Pete Golding has come out, and he's made the adjustment. They're playing with much more two high safety looks, giving more free access on the outside because they know now that LSU has become addicted to the big play, and they're rallying to make tackles. So they seem to be taking the process of make them earn it like he told us they would, that they did not do in the first half.
Diggs breaks a tackle, has a first down. Closes in on midfield. Ladarius Tennyson had a chance to bring him down near the line of scrimmage. Eventually, Sistrunk made the stop.
Yeah, and if Ladarius Tennyson didn't make this at least stumble Logan Diggs there was no one there on the defense to stop him running from a touchdown down the sideline.
Daniels scans the field. That's a long check down to Brian Thomas Jr. And he's got 2 yards to the 50-yard line. DeAndre Prince wrestled him down. It's a gain of 3 just across the midfield stripe.
You were in line, Bob. That was a really long throw for not much of a gain, but as a quarterback, your job is to get the ball to the guy that's open, and right there, Jaden Daniels made the right read.
Neighbors broke 1 tackle, but could not get away from DeMarco Williams. So it sets up 3rd down. 3rd and 2 for LSU, just inside the 45 of Ole Miss.
And you're seeing Ole Miss's defense try to change the picture right now on Jaden Daniels, having the nickel back up and come forward. But when you give easy access throws like that to Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels is disciplined enough to just throw the ball to the guy that's wide open and not force anything. He's got to continue to do that here on 3rd and 3.
Neighbors in the slot left, Brian Thomas Jr. wide left. Same side of the field. That's the way that the quarterback looks, and why not? Pitch and catch first down to Malik Neighbors.
Every single time that Ole Miss loads the box and goes one-on-one on the outside, LSU is absolutely abusing them. Malik Neighbors does a nice job setting up the guy covering him and breaking inside, running through that. He was a shoelace away from being off to the races.
Once again, the two big receivers side by side to the left of Daniels. He runs right instead. Down the sideline. Inside the 15-yard line, Mason Taylor spins to the 12. Jaden Daniels has now converted 21 of his last 22 through the air.
And he's showing you the full bag right here. He sees the corner come off. Mason Taylor, who's been a little banged up this year, can still make plays for this offense. And Jaden Daniels is finding everybody when he's supposed to, just like that.
Straight ahead goes Diggs. At the 5, at the goal line, he's in for an LSU touchdown. An even 100 yards on the ground now for Logan Diggs, and that's his second score.
Yep, just another inside zone run. Nobody really gets hands on him until he gets about to the 3-yard line, and he's too powerful, too strong. And right there, he's saying, can you dig it?
It's another 75-yard touchdown drive in this game.
Right now, for Ole Miss, they can do no right. When they load the box, they're hitting them outside in the passing game. When they go light box, they're running it right down the throat with Logan Diggs.
It's still a one-possession game, but now it's LSU, their largest lead, up to 8 with 3:41 to go in the third. Well, a reminder, the NFL London games kick off tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on ESPN+. If you have not seen Bijan Robinson in an NFL uniform yet for the Falcons, guess what? He looks like he did in college. No one can tackle him. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, of course, the opponent at Wembley Stadium, and they're not just playing in London. They'll be playing in Andy's bedroom, too. What? That's right. It will transform into the world of Pixar's Toy Story, with the NFL players becoming the characters, competing in real time. It is fascinating to watch. Toy Story Fun Day Football available Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific on ESPN+ as well. So if you have a little one and you want to intro them to football, what better way to do that than the Toy Story football game opposite? Maybe you can have one device, they can have the other. Get them both going tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Listen, I'm a girl dad of 4, and I am certainly going to have my daughters watching that Toy Story broadcast to infinity and beyond.
Nice job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Out to the 25-yard line now for Ole Miss, and now Jackson Dart will need another answer, as this is a punch-counter-punch game. And you wonder which defense is going to step up and get the big stop needed first.
Yeah, right now it does feel like LSU's defense is slowing down the Ole Miss offense. And I think it just has to do with Ole Miss hurting themselves as they're driving the football down the field. You want to play clean football. They got to do that on this drive if they want to, not allow LSU to keep climbing this lead.
Toss to Bentley. Speed to the edge. Tiptoes down the sideline. He's got a first down. Just a 14-yard bolt right to his own bench.
And bolt is the right word, because when we talked to Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr., they said Ulysses Bentley has that long speed, and he's a great change of pace back.
Oh, nice jump cut in the backfield by Bentley. But he's got nowhere to go. He ends up going east-west. He shook away Harold Perkins, but Major Burns was there to bring him down for a loss of a yard.
Yeah, Major Burns has been all over the field. And he was a guy coming into this one that Ole Miss felt like they could take advantage of in the passing game. But you got to actually be able to throw the ball and be in good down and distances to take advantage of that. And right now they haven't been in the second half.
Play action for Dart. Avoids a sack. He'll take a shot into double coverage. Incomplete. Hoping for Dayton Wade. And now it will be 3rd down and 11.
Dayton Wade's actually played really well today. He's a space eater, I like to call him, at the receiver position. A guy that can, when he gets the ball in space, he's special. But right there, you kind of saw that 5'9" height show up.
Right at the first down line to gain his pre-score. And he reaches the ball out, and it's a big 3rd down conversion for Ole Miss.
Yeah, it feels like we're calling Caden Prescorn's name a lot on these third downs. They believe that that is the matchup for them at the tight end position to move the chains, and they've exploited it all day long.
Judkins tripped up. Another tackle for Harold Perkins Jr., who is starting to show up more and more as this game wears on.
And so is this defense. I talked about it. They have to shut down the run, make Ole Miss one-dimensional, put them in third and longs. And, you know, the fact of the matter is if you have 5 third and 10s, you're probably not going to convert all 5 of them. And that's what they're betting on. They are smothering the run game right now on this drive. But Jackson Dart's doing a nice job doing it with his arm.
Judkins. Another ankle tackle, this one courtesy of Savion Jones. 5-yard gain. Third and manageable, though, for Ole Miss. Third down and 4. They have been terrific on third down tonight.
Yeah, and Lane Kiffin told us the last 3 games they've been horrible. The numbers speak to it. Tonight, that's why they have so many points.
Straight ahead goes Bentley, but Major Burns, joined by Whit Weeks in the pile near the line of scrimmage, limits the gain to 2. So now it's 4th down and 2 at the LSU 42. And slow to get up on the play is Reese McIntyre on the offensive line for Ole Miss. So the trainer's out to take a look at McIntyre, and that extends the decision time for Lane Kiffin. You have to think he's going to go for it.
Yeah, he's going to go for it. And I talked about it before. We looked at those numbers for what they're doing on third down. Teams, you will rarely see a team be great on third down and not put up a ton of points, because in those situations it allows you to stay on the field longer, go deeper into your bag of your playbook. So here on 4th and 2, you know, I've always talked about giving the quarterback a run-pass option. But in this situation, you got to make a decision that you're going to be more physical than this LSU front.
Instead, it looks like they're going to line up and go Wildcat with Dart going in motion. Judkins takes the handoff. Very close. It looks like by a half yard, he was able to pick it up. It is a first down. 4th down and 2 in the direct snap. So Quinshawn Judkins gets the job done.
You know, Bob, it's not very often that I say that me and Lane Kiffin are on the same wavelength of brain thinking. But right here, they said we're going to be more physical than you. We're going to run right at you and get this first down to send a message, not only to your defense, but also to our team. This is going to be a great finish.
As the third quarter winds down. Another toss to Judkins. He tries to turn the corner and does. Lowers his shoulder. Runs over Denver Harris. There's a flag down. Right about where Judkins turned the corner. There might have been holding going on.
Holding, number 83 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
That's a true freshman receiver, Caden Lee, out there blocking for Quinshawn Judkins, and he gets flagged.
Yeah, he's out there on the edge. And do you see this from offensive linemen and guys blocking on the perimeter? When the guy gets outside of you, you got to let the defender go. As soon as they see the jersey tug, they're going to throw that flag. But I do want to say, Bob, you're seeing a consistent theme here from Ole Miss. Going inside, making them run sideline to sideline. Run inside, make them run sideline to sideline. They're trying to wear out this LSU front so that when they get into the depths of the 4th quarter, they're not as fresh and they can have more big plays.
Play action. Dart. He'll take off. Right down the middle of the field goes Jackson Dart. Leaps over a man down to the 21-yard line. Andre Sam whipped as Jackson Dart went vertical. And that will end the quarter with a bang here at Ole Miss. Hotty toddy for Jackson Dart.
And look at him. He makes the decision to pull it down and run. And then he looks like me with the hurdle over the defender in the middle of the field. You absolutely gotta love it.
Lane, in a game that's been counter-punches of these offenses, what do you need in the final 15?
Well, we can't kick field goals. We got to score touchdowns. Obviously, we got some major mismatch issue on the other side, and our quarterback's playing lights out. So we got to score and go for 2.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So Lane Kiffin, as the 4th quarter begins, telling you exactly what his strategy will be and exactly what you can expect. Going for it on 4th down, and if they find the end zone, going for 2.
Without a doubt, You have to have that aggressive mindset. Your defense is not stopping anything. He said your quarterback is playing at a high level. You got to trust that. And like I told you before, red zone rebels.
One-on-one. Left side of the end zone, incomplete. These quarterbacks have taken those one-on-one shots, and oftentimes with success. That time Trey Harris couldn't haul it in, but we have, with that Jackson Dart scramble to end the third quarter, gone over a combined 1,000 yards of offense in this game between the two teams.
Glorious. Glorious for an offensive guy.
Wide receiver bubble screen. Dayton Wade gets a block, scoots down the sideline, close to a first down. With Robert Griffin III, I'm Bob Wischusen. We saw Chris Button talking to Lane Kiffin as well, and looks like that is indeed that Ole Miss first down inside the 12.
Exactly what Lane Kiffin wanted to see. I just like the fact that they're getting the ball to their best players in the best position for them. That's what Dayton Wade is really good at. It's yards after the catch and using that quickness that he has to catch a defense off guard.
Judkins at the 10. Judkins at the 5. Powers his way to the goal line. Is he across? Yes! There's an Ole Miss touchdown. And immediately Lane Kiffin lets his offense know, let's go for 2 to try and tie it up.
We talked about how Quinshon Judkins had to get going. Super easy outside zone play for him, and he powers his way, letting everybody in the SEC know that wanted him to come play for them. I'm a rebel, and I'm going to help them become a powerhouse.
Ulysses Bentley in the game to the right of Dart for the 2-point play. Dart with a pump fake. Dart, shovel pass, caught short of the goal line is Trey Harris. And LSU rallies to deny the 2-point conversion. They maintain the lead, but now it's only by a couple early in the fourth quarter. How much fun has this game been?
Oh, it's been a blast. A little flip play, but LSU is all over it.
It is rocking here at the Vaught as you are watching the SEC on ESPN. Vaught Hemingway Stadium here at Ole Miss. Primetime football in Oxford, and it has been a show put on by the two offenses. 42-40. LSU about to get the football back with a 2-point lead. Ole Miss led 21-7 in the first half. They were outscored 35-13 until that last Ole Miss touchdown as we check in with Matt.
All right, Bob, kind of a slow start for Oregon tonight against Stanford, but Bo Nix and Troy Franklin, they finally woken up on the road. Wide open, makes it 28-6 Ducks. And don't forget, coming up tonight, Alabama, Mississippi State. We're going to start Jalen Milroe and the Tide on ESPN News, and then we will move them over to ESPN when LSU Ole Miss goes final.
All right, Matt, thank you. The 5th running back of the night in the game for LSU with Caleb Jackson. A rollout for Daniels. There's the check down. Dropped by Jackson. He's normally the return man on kickoffs and has pretty good hands, but could not hold on to that one. And head right to the sideline. Replaced by Logan Diggs.
That's usually what happens when you come in and you put a stinker of a drop out there. He did outflank the defense very quickly. You could see the speed. But they're going to go with the guys that have been the hot hand for them. And Diggs has certainly been cooking all day long.
Seems like that's the only way we'll see a Jaden Daniels incompletion. As if someone drops the ball. That's how good he's been. Up the middle. Hammering away is Logan Diggs. He paid the price and gained only 1. Monty Montgomery lowered the boom. 3rd down and 9.
If you're watching at home, you got to look for Malik Neighbors. That's where it's all going to start. It might not get thrown to him, but that is where Jaden Daniels is always starting. Because 1, he's a baller, and 2, it opens up the rest of the team.
He is to the top of the screen. Widest to the far side right is Neighbors. Daniels looks that direction, has time. Now it collapses. He lost the football, got it back, and he's down. Ashanti Sistrum gets the sack. A loss of 6 and a stop for the Ole Miss defense.
You're going to see Ashanti Sistrum kind of being the QB spy, but he realizes that he can go make the play on Jaden Daniels. Almost gets him to turn the football over. Talk about a big play, momentum shifting type of play. And it was actually the defense that made it. Maybe the defenses are going to start showing up here in the fourth quarter, Bob.
Only the second punt of the night for LSU. Jay Bramblett will kick it to Jordan Watkins. Barely gets it away and gets knocked down. Flags come out. Watkins on the return for the 32-yard line. He's immediately brought down, but Bramblett was hit. Flags were thrown. Rafe Vinson ran into Bramblett. Now the call. And I have to think this is not a personal foul because Brian Kelly's being given options.
Running into the kicker on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down, Ole Miss.
So only running into the kicker. That avoids disaster for Ole Miss. That would have given the ball back to LSU.
Oh, man, Ray Vincent is the happiest man in the world right now. I'm telling you, when he ran into this punter, he saw his life flash before his eyes. He tried to help him up.
It was the right call, though.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. 18 hotel brands, 1 loyalty program. Download the app.
We've got 82 total points on the board, so the progressive pylon cams have been busy tonight. That was the first touchdown of the game. Judkins on 4th down. A couple of touchdowns for Brian Thomas. Judkins with a touchdown through the air and a touchdown on the ground. Bob Wischusen, Robert Griffin III, Chris Button. Here in Oxford, Ole Miss back to the offense, down by 2. They fake the toss. Sidearm throw to the sideline, broken up. That was a good read by Zy Alexander. He jumped the route of Jordan Watkins. How about this, RG3? 40 points on the board tonight for Ole Miss. This is their best starting field position.
Wow.
At their own 34-yard line.
So they've been workmanlike today is what you're saying.
Bentley finds a cutback lane. Jukes another man. He's got a first down and more. All the way out to midfield. His tackles continued to be a problem for the LSU defense.
Man, Ulysses Bentley is seeing it so cleanly right now. Watch how he knifes through this line, makes a guy miss. He's making the moves before they even know he's past them.
Bentley again. 7 more yards on first down. That time Major Burns did make the tackle.
I had a conversation with Bijan Robinson, and he talked to me about how, you know, some guys wait till they get to a guy to make a move, whereas he would make the move 3-4 yards away, and the defender wouldn't even know that he wasn't going to be where they thought he was going to be. And that's what I'm seeing from Ulysses Bentley right now.
Judkins met and dropped at the line of scrimmage. Aggressive move by Sage Ryan. A loss of a yard.
You've seen Ole Miss go to that toss play a couple times. They tried to do a play action off of it. The one that Jackson Dart threw sidearm that was incomplete. It's been an effective run for them because it's getting them out on the edge quickly. Right there, LSU knocked it out.
3rd down and 4. Becomes 4th down and 5. Judkins dropped behind the line. Mason Smith with terrific penetration. And Harold Perkins Jr. is down.
Oh, man.
He immediately rolls over on his back, and the LSU trainers are quick to respond. So an injury timeout. A player that RG3 you said might be the best defensive player in the nation, down and hurt. We'll check when we come back.
watching a presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ESPN. A new era of the SEC begins in 2024 on ESPN and ABC.
LSU fans breathe a sigh of relief. It looks like Harold Perkins Jr. is just fine. He's on the sideline. Ole Miss will go for it on 4th down after that last tackle at the plus 45-yard line. 4th and 4, close to 5.
Well, they tried to draw him off sides with a hard count there and almost got him. But if you know Lane Kiffin, he's got ice in his veins. He's going to try to do this.
It looks like a zero blitz. There is no one in the middle of the field for LSU defensively.
Got to have your cover 0 checks ready.
Here they come. There's the slant. Batted down at the line, incomplete. The ball is scooped up, and running with it is Ryan Yates, but that looked to be an incomplete pass. And it is a 4th down stop, the first of the night for LSU.
That's a learning moment right there for Jackson Dart. When you get this cover 0 blitz, you gotta lose ground right there. He once again went back to throwing the football as if there was not a defender in front of him trying to knock it down. You gotta lose ground, give yourself a passing angle to be able to hit the receiver that you were throwing to, which was open. That's why Lane Kiffin was reacting the way that he did.
So on this night where we've had well over 1,000 yards of total offense, Ole Miss fails to score with their best starting field position. This is now the best starting field position for LSU. Logan Diggs pulled down with a flag down. A heck of a tackle by J.J. Pegues, but he's still down again. The second time he's been injured.
Holding on the offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
So Akilo Stone is set to come in for Pegues as we step aside. Another injury timeout.
Added break, Ole. Coming up, Will Rogers in Mississippi State and Alabama. We're going to start that game over on ESPN News, and then we'll bring it over here to ESPN when LSU Ole Miss goes final.
And Matt Barry, who knows when that will be? Seems like an appropriate full moon kind of game. As crazy as this one has been, as J.J. Pegues was taken back to the locker room with an injury, jet sweep to Neighbors. And a good job by the Ole Miss defense. The Land Sharks stretched that one out and limited the Neighbors gain to 2.
You know, getting the ball to Malik Neighbors there is just to find a unique way to get your best player the football, because you know with 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter, you're going to need him to come up big down the stretch. So you don't want him to feel like he's been iced out of the game.
2nd down and 18. 3-man rush. Daniels to the sideline. Close to the original line of scrimmage. Run out at the 44 by Isaac Ukwu. A gain of 7.
And we almost had a genetic situation there with Isaac Ukwu. He did a nice job of making sure he could get Jaden Daniels to the sideline, because I can only imagine he didn't want to be in open space with a guy as elusive as Daniels.
3rd down and 11.
Once again, looking for Malik Neighbors. He's at the bottom of your screen in the slot, I believe.
Over the middle, crossing route. Kyron Lacey breaking tackles. A 1st down, well inside the 35-yard line of Ole Miss.
That's what happens when you have guys like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. It's the 3rd or 4th guy, Kyron Lacey, who his coach said is 1 step away from being another guy, and he's showing you his skills on full display tonight.
This might be a free play. Jaden Daniels, he's going to take a shot. Why not? It was a neutral zone infraction. The catch made by Brian Thomas. He's got another touchdown.
left defensive end. A penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
It's a hat trick for Brian Thomas Jr., his third touchdown of the night.
And Jaden Daniels pulled an Aaron Rodgers, and I hope Rodgers is watching tonight, because when you get those guys to jump off sides, you got to throw it deep. And Jaden Daniels isn't just throwing it deep, fellas. He's throwing shade at all these DBs, and his receivers are making plays for him. Now, you're going to see the heel of Brian Thomas Jr. there be out of bounds, but because he got the first foot down, it's a touchdown.
Well, for the first time tonight, replay is going to stop the game to check one of these touchdowns. And the question is going to be, does Brian Thomas have complete control of that football when that first foot hits?
100%.
Or is he still trying to make the catch as the second foot touches the sideline? Let's see.
In college, all you need is one foot. So here's the foot down. Oh, come on now. Let's keep it rolling. That's going to be an incompletion.
That's a good question.
That's going to be an incompletion because that first foot is down, but by the time he gains control, see, 1 foot down, it still doesn't have control. Now he has control, kinda, and he's got that other foot out of bounds. So I retract that statement. It is not a touchdown. They should be overturning this. Once again, it looks like a catch, but he still doesn't have possession of the ball. Now he has possession of the ball, and he's rolling out of bounds.
So that is the question for the replay booth as well. Their judgment is going to have to be, when does he finally have firm control of that football? And does he have enough control when the left foot hits? Because clearly the right foot goes toe to heel and lands on the sideline. That back foot's out of bounds.
Yeah, I would think anyone with eyes could be able to tell that the ball's still moving around a little bit, and he doesn't have complete control until he's already out of bounds.
But to your point, Jaden Daniels, that's just smart quarterbacking.
It is.
Right? He knows, I've got a free play, I've got a big play wide receiver, take a shot and let him, because it's 0 negative consequences.
Yeah, and his guys have been making him right all night long. He's been throwing some perfect balls, don't get me wrong. But this one right here was purely on the wide receiver, making an adjustment to the ball. And when you're a quarterback, you're going to feel confident to let your receivers go up and make plays for you in those types of situations.
Well, now we're about to get the official ruling.
After video review, the ruling on the field stands of a touchdown.
Oh. Wow. Well, I got to say, I completely disagree.
The Ole Miss sideline can't believe it either.
I'm standing 10 toes down on that one. That's a terrible call.
Lane Kiffin is in the ear of the officials as he disagrees as well. But they are saying that right there, that's firm enough control of the football when the first foot lands in bounds. And again, when the precedent is set on the field and it is ruled a touchdown,
correct,
the benefit of the doubt is given to that call. Unless you have indisputable evidence to overturn it. You thought it was pretty indisputable, though.
No, it is indisputable. There is no question there. The ball is moving around. I'm an offensive guy. So if I'm an offensive guy and you're telling me that that's a touchdown catch when the ball is clearly moving around, it's just not true.
And right now, the student section disagreeing with the call, but showing their disgust in the worst possible way, because they have to make an announcement here in the stadium to stop throwing things on the field.
Bob,
I think Chris Button is down there as well. Let's go down to Chris.
Ryan Kelly is irate because they were lined up to play, and beer cans, full water bottles being hurled at their players.
Well, he certainly has the right to be irate, because the last thing you should ever see is that.
Yeah, you don't want that to be happening. I understand that it was a bad call. It was a bad call, but you got to let these guys play the game, and the refs made their decision, and they're moving on from that. But, Bob, you've known me for, what, 5 games? And
yes, our long relationship.
You know that I love points. I love offense, but when you get a call that wrong, it impacts the game, and that should never happen.
Ramos for the point after attempt. And that's a big point. because now it's a 2-possession game with 8.5 minutes to go.
And now if you're Ole Miss, you have to clear it. Play's over. They rolled it a touchdown. Move on, move forward, get your offense back out there on the football field, and go try to make it a game. Go try to get back in this bad boy. It is a 2-possession game, but all you can control is what you do on this next series. Don't allow that bad call to make the rest of your game go to poo-poo.
Personal foul, number 51 on the defense. That 15-yard penalty will be administered on the kickoff.
So Xavier Harris is called for a personal foul. That will have LSU kicking the ball off from midfield on top of the fact that they now lead by 9. You watch number 51 right in the middle of the screen, and that is a punch throw. He's lucky he's not kicked out of the game because he should be.
Like I was just saying, you can't allow that one call to impact the rest of this game. You still have 8 minutes to go out and do whatever you can to potentially win, and that's going to put your offense in a hole now.
And 8.5 minutes in this game, if you stretch out what we've seen so far, we'll probably see 3, maybe 4 more touchdowns. So this is a game that is very much still up for grabs. Both teams even have all 3 timeouts.
Bob, if we see 4 more touchdowns, I'm going to be ecstatic. I mean, we love the offense tonight. Love the offense.
So Dybert to kick from midfield. Sometimes teams will try an intentionally short kick with some hang time from midfield. And there is the squib kick. And they're going to give up some field position here. That did not work the way LSU intended. You don't want to kick off from midfield and then have Ole Miss end up with the football at the 35-yard line as Ladarius Tennyson with a good scoop.
What are you doing? I understand that kicking off from midfield can be tougher for your kickoff specialist, but my God, doing a squib there, you just did Ole Miss a favor.
So much better field position than Ole Miss. You would think they would end up with at their own 35-yard line. But now they're down by 2 scores with 8.5 minutes to go. Dart off play action. Nice pump fake. Being pursued. Heaves it to the sideline. He was outside the pocket. Got the ball past the line of scrimmage, so no danger of intentional grounding. Let's check in with Matt.
Okay, Bob, quickly, want to let all the Alabama and Mississippi State fans know we've put your game on ESPN News for now. When LSU Ole Miss goes final, we'll move it back over to ESPN, but they have kicked in Starkville, Alabama, Mississippi State on ESPN News.
And we're about 8 minutes and 24 seconds away from getting you to Alabama, Mississippi State. Judkins. Bottled up behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 11. After that tackle for loss, Whit Weeks helped out by Mason Smith.
It's exactly what defensive coordinator Matt House said they needed to do. Make Ole Miss play behind the chains. Whit Weeks rallying to the football there for a loss, tackle for loss. Now they're putting them in a situation late in the game that they don't want to be in. 3rd and 11. There's not many great plays for downs and distances like this, but they have been trying to get it to pre-scoring a lot in these situations.
Pre-scoring the motion man. Long throw, hauled in by Trey Harris. Breaks a tackle. He's got a 1st down. Jukes down the sideline. Carries a tackler down to the 31-yard line. Denver Harris missed the tackle on Trey Harris, and it results in 35 yards for the Rebels. Bubble screen. Again, it's Dayton Wade. Flag thrown. He picked up 11. But once again, this might be holding out on the edge. Prescorn was out there to block for Dayton Wade.
Holding, number 86 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
We've seen that a couple of times, Robert. The hold in the open field's tough to disguise when you're blocking for the bubble screen.
Yeah, they are, and you're going to see it right here. Prescorn, really, he might have blocked him too good, Bob. anytime these guys get outside with speed and space, you have to let them go as soon as the guy gets near you. Otherwise, they're going to see that little jersey tug that they talk about, and they're going to throw the flag.
A spot foul. So it nets 6 yards on the penalty. 1st and 16 for Ole Miss.
You want to try to get half the yards back here.
They run it with Judkins. And he is pulled down by Greg Penn. And he probably got about half the yards that were necessary. And of course, down by 9, 6:42 to go. As aggressive as Lane Kiffin is, might be 4 down territory anyway.
Oh, 100%.
Wade makes a move. 1st down, and then some. Out of bounds at the 12. Ashton Stamps, true freshman, in coverage, surrenders 15 yards.
And like we talked about, getting Dayton Wade the ball in space, that's what he does best. LSU's corners are still playing super soft coverage, man.
Judkins down inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. Same personnel stays on the field for Ole Miss. So LSU cannot substitute defensively.
They got a one-on-one matchup to the top of the screen.
Instead, it's Judkins. It's a 1st down. He's down to the 1-yard line. Whit Weeks, Andre Sam, they were there. They saved a touchdown, but it's 1st and goal.
Just straight bully ball, running it right down the pipe. I'd do it again.
And they do. Judkins gets the push. There's a pile up at the 1-yard line. LSU gets the stop on 1st and goal. Sage Ryan came up to make first contact. And now LSU's going to try and substitute.
Yeah, don't underestimate how that hit in the backfield by Sage Ryan can impact the running back.
Quarterback sneak. Jackson Dart gets the push. Flags down. He's in for a touchdown. I think LSU again had too many men on the field trying to scramble guys off and on, substituting without Ole Miss substituting.
Illegal substitution on the defense. That penalty is declined. Results of the play, touchdown.
So there is the touchdown for Ole Miss. 5:06 to go. And they will now try the point after as they're down by 3.
And here's the touchdown. Just a quarterback sneak. They tried to bring in a little... I heard that it's not the tush push anymore, guys. I heard it's called the brotherly shove. So they tried to get pre-scoring to get in there and do that for Dart, but he didn't even need it.
Again, LSU is going to be caught with too many men on the field, but the point after attempt is good. Now this would be a half the distance to the goal penalty.
Illegal substitution on the defense. That penalty is declined. Results of the play, the try is good.
And even going half the distance, there's no math where a 2-point try makes sense. So they leave the point on the board and decline the penalty. 5:06 to go.
What is LSU just keeps trying to play with 12 men on the field? What are they, Texas A&M? Man.
Between these two teams, 10 combined trips to the red zone.
Right.
8 touchdowns in those 10 trips. So it's the rare stop where one of these teams can hold the other to a field goal. That's happened a couple of times, and now that's exactly the situation that Ole Miss defensively finds themselves in.
Bob, you're speaking my language. I talked about it. Hold on, go ahead and get this promo real quick.
All right, I will. Next Saturday, we'll have the Red River rivalry game, Oklahoma, Texas at the Cotton Bowl. Noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ABC and the ESPN app. You know, you're new to TV, but really not enough O's and smooth.
No.
That transition was very good.
We got to make money up here too, okay? But I talked about it in Threes Keys. Red zone rebels. Both teams have to try to find a way to hold the other team to field goals in the red zone. And you're seeing right now, it has been the difference in the game. It's going to be even more important here down the stretch with 5 minutes left.
Aiden Davis with a booming kickoff. Just about reached the back of the end zone. So now the question, can Ole Miss get a stop and give their offense one more chance with the football? Or a touchdown would put the game away just about, you would think, for LSU, even if you surrender a field goal.
Yeah.
If you're the Rebels, depending on how much time you've got, 3 timeouts still on the board, I'd have a chance to score a touchdown and maybe win it. So a lot of different possibilities in the last 5 minutes.
And I know there's 5 minutes in the game, but this is true 4-minute offense situation for LSU. You can own the line of scrimmage against this smaller front of Ole Miss with Logan Diggs at the running back spot. You don't want to give Ole Miss the ball back here.
Daniels, a little pass on the flat to Mason Taylor. Near midfield before he's finally brought down by Cedric Johnson. Let's check in with Chris.
Guys, Jaden Daniels is as calm as a quarterback on the sidelines as someone I have ever seen. He comes out, watches kickoff, will stand by himself in the corner of the coach's box, not talking to anyone, just standing there, embracing the moment, not a rock. Just taking moments to himself.
He is as cool, calm, and collected as could be. He might be without his tight end now, as Mason Taylor hurt after that catch and run out close to midfield.
Yeah, you can see Mason Taylor go down here. Oh.
Hopefully that's nothing more than maybe landing on the football, getting the wind knocked out of him.
That's what it looks like, honestly.
We'll keep our fingers crossed that he is okay, and he has now been helped up to his feet.
And I want to say this. If you're LSU, it's not that you get conservative and you try to play keep away. It's you just try to run the clock down, continue to get first downs. But if you can score a touchdown, it's still a 2-possession game, and you're fine. So if Mason Taylor would have scored right there, I don't think Brian Kelly would have been mad at all.
No question.
But if you get to this thing down into the 2-minute, 1-minute range, you're really trying to just run the clock out in a way of you're still progressing down the football field. I don't think that they're going to become conservative by any stretch of the imagination. And that's what I meant by that comment of keeping the ball away from Ole Miss.
Nice fake by Daniels, allowing him to escape and cross the 50-yard line. Now both of these teams play very high-tempo offense. Trey Washington on the hit. Trey Washington is hurt. DeMarco Williams is also hurt for Ole Miss. So 2 more injuries on this play for the Rebels. But this game has really been a war of attrition. There have been a ton of players that have gone down. The good news is most have been able to return to the game.
Yeah, they have, and that was a massive hit pointer right there.
So DeMarco Williams being helped up, and he is coming to the sideline with a limp. And what I was going to ask you, though, because you've made this point before, you played in an up-tempo offense in college.
Correct.
And you said whenever we went from up-tempo to slow, we would have problems.
Yes.
This is a time in the game where milking the play clock down seems to be the right thing for LSU. Would you do that, or would you keep that tempo going if you were the Tigers?
LSU's tempo has not been as high as Ole Miss's, and I think they're staying true to that.
They've had some look over.
They've had some
play clock down.
Exactly. So it's just a natural way of them to look over to the sideline, run the play clock down without truly running it all the way down to 1 second every time.
Daniels bluffs the snap. That time they snapped it with 27 seconds on the play clock, and Diggs dives up the middle for no gain. So not only did they not pick up any real estate, they just saved 27 seconds of time that they could have taken off the clock for Ole Miss.
It's clear that Brian Kelly's focus for his coaches, he's telling them, we're trying to go score. We're not worried about the clock. We're not worried about whether it goes back to Ole Miss or not. We're trying to score. So here on 3rd and 5, I would not be shocked if they tried to get the ball to Malik Neighbors, number 8. But the guy that's really been showing up for him is Brian Thomas Jr., number 11. Those two are an amazing 1-2 punch. Look for Daniels to potentially try to get the ball to one of them.
Mason Taylor is back. He goes in motion. Timeout called by LSU with the play clock winding down that time. So the Tigers use their first timeout with 3:39 to go. 49-47 with 3.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter alone has had its share of highlights.
Oh, yes, it has. And here you got Quinshon Judkins making moves, running the LSU defenders into the end zone, but they don't get the two-point conversion, even though Jackson Dart does a little Mahomes flip to Trey Harris. Big stop right there for LSU. Then they go for it on fourth down. Jackson Dart doesn't use the arm angle to get it around the DB. And then here's LSU's controversial touchdown by Brian Thomas Jr. Hey, was the ball moving? Was it not? I had my feelings, but the ref said it could not be overturned. And look at the reaction from LSU. That's a game-changing play.
Well, a chance for a game-changing play here for Ole Miss defensively if they can get a stop. Neighbors in motion. Daniels on the move. He's under pressure, bottled out, and brought down. He tried to get the ball to Neighbors. Sistrunk was there first. Great coverage by the Landshark defense. And they get the stop they needed. That's their third sack.
Woo! You want to see a defense that's playing like their hair's on fire. Look at everybody flowing to the football. Get your hat to the ball. Don't give him an opportunity to use those sweet feet to potentially get a first down. The coverage was there. They lifted that man up to the sky like he was Jesus, letting them know they're going to put him on the cross right there. Wow. Great job by Ole Miss's defense. And now they give their offense a chance to go win the game.
And they are letting the clock wind down. The play clock goes down to 0, and there is a delay of game flag that is dropped.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
So that'll back Jay Bramblett up 5 more yards. And Jordan Watkins will be hoping for a chance to return. So Ole Miss is about to get the ball back with timeouts. And for the pace of their offense, plenty of time on the clock.
Oh, yeah. Told you this is going to be a great finish, Bob. We're in for a doozy.
Bramblett. A wobbly kick that's short. Flag thrown. It takes an LSU roll to the 23-yard line. Only a 33-yard punt. But holding it looks like is going to be the call against Ole Miss.
Holding on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, Ole Miss.
Well, going the long field hasn't been a problem all night for these offenses, but this is really going to be the long field now for the Rebels as they'll start at their own 12-yard line.
Yeah, that penalty's no bueno. Pushing the offense back. Now they can score in 10 seconds. You see the guy at the bottom that they're calling holding on. Oh, wow, he almost tackled that man. Tried to put a WWE move on him.
In case you're wondering, Caden Davis against Tulane a few weeks ago made a career-long 56-yard field goal. So he has a very strong leg if just getting into field goal range becomes the issue here for the Rebels. A fake by Dart. Quarterback run out close to the 20-yard line. Good yardage on first down, close to 8.
No lie, Bob. They have run that run play at least 15 times tonight. And now getting Jackson Dart to go down the middle of the field is the quickest way to get them closer to a touchdown.
Judkins, first down. That same alley.
Exactly.
Basically the same cutback into the same real estate, and they move the chains.
We talk about it all the time. We learned this when we're young. Hey, the fastest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. Well, they've been going sideline, sideline, sideline. Now they're trying to get vertical, and that's a great plan, especially with this LSU defense being tired.
Judkins again. Dives across the 30. A gain of 5, and the clock rolling. 1:45 to go.
Another thing that's not really being talked about or seen is the fact that LSU is giving Ole Miss a light box a lot right now.
And they're taking advantage of it. Judkins almost broken. Out to the 44-yard line. Andre Sam might have saved the touchdown.
100% he did. This offense talked to us, so their offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss Jr., said they want to keep the defense off balance, keep them on their toes. They've been doing that the entire game. This defense does not know what is coming at them, and now they're covering down, playing man to try to get an extra guy in the box. That could leave some one-on-one matchups on the outside.
Crowd getting a little antsy. There's Dart up the middle. Ankle tackle after only 2 yards by Whit Weeks, and that forces a timeout. But once again, Dart looked over to the sideline, and as you said, is he counting bodies and almost forced to keep the ball on the ground because of the numbers in the tackle box?
Well, right there, it is a light box, but because they have 4 wide, it makes their alleys for the running back to be able to get there. They're trying to set them up for a play action off of that run play right there. And I'm telling you, watch. You see them covered down to the 3 at the top, covered down here to the receiver at the bottom. They have numbers on the inside, but some play soon here with 1 minute and 8 seconds left in the game. They're going to have to try to hit a deep shot to Trey Harris, one-on-one with his man, number 5, LaTerrence Welch, playing him.
So after the first timeout called by Ole Miss, on a night where we're closing in on 1,300 yards of total offense.
So I'm telling you, watch that matchup. If the safety comes down, they might try to exploit that.
Everything on the ground so far. Now play action, one-on-one. What a catch made, back shoulder. Trey Harris to the 30-yard line.
What I tell you, Bob, if that safety comes down because he has to fill the run because they've been eating him alive, it's going to leave that one-on-one on the outside, and they just took advantage of it.
Here comes a blitz, the screen. Ulysses Bentley shakes and bakes, breaking tackles. Still on his feet inside the 15. Knocked out of bounds, that'll stop the clock at the 13-yard line. Another Ole Miss first down.
Now if you're Lane Kiffin, you got to make a decision. 46 seconds, you're in field goal range. If I'm him, I'm making sure we run a couple nice, easy, safe plays, run the clock down, and potentially kick a field goal to win it.
Oh, now LSU. They'll probably be thinking about using their timeouts. Harris makes a man miss. Pay dirt. Touchdown.
My goodness, Trey Harris, you get the ball in space, you make a man sit down. He's out here doing it for all the red-shirted Miss Americas in Oxford, Mississippi.
Now up by 4 to try and get the lead to 6. Ole Miss will go for 2.
No problem with the decision here.
No, makes total
sense to go for 2 here.
And now a timeout will be called from the sideline by Lane Kiffin, it appears. 39 seconds on the clock. Still 2 timeouts left for LSU. And they have had quick strike ability as well, but how about this drive? The job done on the ground, the combination of Judkins and Dart before Dart eventually takes this shot.
Yes, he takes the shot, and it's because they've been able to run the football. Then they get it out in space to Ulysses Bentley, who's had an incredible game, breaking tackles, getting down the sideline, and then right here, it's just a player making a play. Jackson Dart gets it out there to Trey Harris. He makes a move, and he rolls into the end zone saying, I'm him.
For the last 25 years, Ole Miss, now the first SEC game with 300 through the air and 300 on the ground, and they will go for 2. 389 yards and 4 touchdowns for Dart to 4 different receivers. And he's got the one-on-one to Trey Harris to his right if he wants it. Instead, it's Judkins. Reaches the ball out. Did he break the play? He's in. The 2-point conversion successful.
That man hitting the moonwalk like Michael Jackson. Now let's see if his knee goes down before he gets in. Maybe we can slow it down a little bit. It looks like he got in there, though. But the we see you, Quinshawn.
Let's head down to Chris.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin wasn't even celebrating after that Harris touchdown. He was trying to get him to stop just before the goal line because he knows 39 LSU offense.
Well, LSU still with 2 timeouts left.
Yep.
So you are playing with fire a bit.
Yes.
If you lay down there inside the 5-yard line. You could certainly make an argument that that is the play. But now you're snapping the ball, and who knows what might happen. And you're also having to connect eventually on a field goal.
Yep. Like I said, if I was Lane, I would have slowed it down, ran a couple plays, tried to kick a field goal, walk out of here with a win. They went, they scored the touchdown. Now you're putting the pressure on your defense. Not only does LSU have 2 timeouts, but the clock also stops after first down. So 39 seconds is a boatload of time for this offense to try to go score a touchdown and win it.
It'll come out to the 25-yard line after we check in again with Matt Barry.
All right, guys, quickly, wild finish at your game. Alabama, Mississippi State, a bit of collection of punts until this broken play. Jalen Milroe, 58 yards for the touchdown. Alabama looked as if they just scored again. Right now, though, 7-0.
We've got a lot more than 7-0 on the board here, and it is bedlam at the Vaught. Everyone on their feet, every Ole Miss fan urging their defense on, but Jaden Daniels with a chance to pull this one out of the fire for LSU. Empty backfield, 3-man rush. Daniels gets it started with a crosser. Chris Hilton breaks a tackle. Hilton down the sideline. What a great start for LSU. He's marked out at the 33-yard line of Ole Miss. Picked up 42 yards on the catch and run.
Well, if you're trying to go win a game, this is exactly how you do it. You know Ole Miss is going to be playing soft. Throw it underneath, and then Chris Hilton Jr. said, don't forget about me. Right down the sideline, putting this team in position to now obviously take shots towards the end zone, and it only took 9 seconds off the clock. Beautiful play.
Daniels dropped. The down and out, missing Kyron Lacey as he couldn't hold on. 26 seconds to go. Again, 2 timeouts for LSU.
So now, in the biggest drive of the game, honestly the biggest drive of their season, they have not attempted to throw the ball to their 2 best players in Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors. Look for them to try to get them involved right here on 2nd and 10.
Widest to the far side right is Neighbors. Part of the trip set. As well, to the top of the screen is Brian Thomas. Daniels looks left instead. Almost threw an interception. Deshaun Gaddy Jr. jumped the route, and he had the game in his hands and couldn't hold on.
Oh, my Lord. Jaden Daniels breaks to his left, and Deshaun Gaddy just showed us why he plays DB. You got to make that catch for your team because it puts the game away. Now they got to clear that and not allow that drop to be an emotional roller coaster for them here in these last 19 seconds.
3rd down and 10. Quarterback run for Daniels. With speed to the edge. Drag down. Flags down. Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste may have just horse-collared Jaden Daniels into a 15-yard penalty.
Wow.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle on the defense. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. 1st down, LSU.
Oh, man, I always say speed and space always wins the race, and the only reason it didn't on this one was because Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste got the horse collar on Jaden Daniels. I honestly don't even think he needed to do it. He possibly could have ran Jaden Daniels towards the sideline and forced him to get out, but now you're sitting there with the ball on the 16-yard line, 12 seconds. It's going to give you maybe 2 shots to the end zone to make a play.
Maybe 3 plays, who knows? Movement. Was there a flinch up front?
56 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Now this next play, you can just pick up yardage here. You have timeout, so you can draw yourself closer to try and then, would that be your strategy? Would you be thinking, get the ball maybe inside the 10-yard line to take 1 shot, or are you trying to take multiple shots from here?
What I'm saying is, because they have those timeouts and the clock stops for a first down, you can call any play you want right here. It just has to be a positive one.
Diggs the motion man. Daniels, he wants that shot into traffic to Diggs, and it's incomplete. 5 seconds to go, and now you have to be thinking 1 play and 1 play only.
Once again, biggest drive of the season, biggest drive of the game. Still no attempts to their 2 best players. You have to think that right here, Jaden Daniels has to make a decision. The OC has to work something to get Malik Neighbors an opportunity to make a play for his team.
A timeout called by LSU to discuss this last play.
And how about that? Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste, he just had the big penalty, the 15-yard horse collar, and what does he do on that play right there against Logan Diggs in a situation where he is not ideal to be in coverage? He makes a play.
If I'm Ole Miss, I am doubling Neighbors and Thomas on this play. If they do so,
yes,
and you're the quarterback,
yes,
is this it's going to Neighbors or Thomas no matter what throw? Or are you looking for whatever option you think might be best?
Whoa. It's never a throw to those guys no matter what. I'm just saying as a coordinator, there's a trick or there's a play in my bag that I know my guy is going to get open because Pete Golding in this situation calls this. They have to be able to put Neighbors or Thomas in a situation to make a play. 5 seconds, game on the line. Why not go to your best player?
One last gasp. Flags down. Another false start.
Number 8 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And Malik Neighbors was the player that flinched. So this will move the ball back to the 26-yard line and make it that much more difficult.
Now you're going to see Pete Golding. You see the 3 deep across in the end zone. They're playing a defense that's going to force them to have to rally up and make a tackle if LSU throws it underneath.
Neighbors and Thomas side by side to the right. Daniels looks left. Timeout called. And granted to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
This is like 2 basketball coaches calling timeouts to see what the inbounds play is going to be. Doesn't it feel that way?
It does feel that way. They kind of got a sneak peek of what the play might be. That's a way for a coach to play chess, not checkers.
Well, the drive that LSU has put together to get it into this position, Chris Hilton, the big catch and run.
It all started with this one right here. You want that first completion, but you love it when that one turns into a 40-yard gain. Then almost the interception here by Mr. Gaddy could have ended it for Ole Miss. And then the horse collar, back-to-back, put LSU in position to go score a touchdown. And then here, just your linebacker who just made a mistake, comes up big, making a play on the running back down the field. Obviously, they had the false start, too, on offense. And now they're in a situation with 5 seconds left, game on the line.
Here it is, Daniels, under pressure, buying time. Looking end zone. He's going to fire one into traffic. Tapped in, complete. Hilton, the intended receiver. And Ole Miss celebrates an amazing win.
Bob, it's a revolution in Oxford, Mississippi.
Let's head down to Chris Button.
Coach getting a hug from his quarterback. Every time your offense needed to respond, it did. What can you say about the way that Dart and the rest of those guys?
I'm really happy for our players, fans, electric atmosphere. This ain't about me, man. Our players played their butts off, and we stopped them when we needed to, finally.
You told me that on Sunday and Monday it was tough inside that building. They responded. What are you most proud of?
Yeah, that's a hard game to come back from, and they played their ass off today, and we scored more than they did.
What's all this like?
All right.
The student section celebrates. And heartbreak for LSU. The Magnolia Trophy belongs to Ole Miss, and RG3 came down to one crack at it for Dan.
Yes, it did. And Jaden Daniels did all he could do here, right? He buys time, he rolls out, and all you got to do is put it in the area for your receiver to make a play. He finds a guy in the back, and it hits him right in the hands, Bob. Right there, that is not an HBO play. He did not help a brother out. But for Ole Miss, you see him putting the locks, the straps on the offense, and when it mattered the most, they came through, and that's all that matters.
Ole Miss 55, LSU 49. That's your final. For Robert Griffin III and Chris Button, I'm Bob Wischusen. Thanks so much for watching. Mark Jones and Rod Gilmore now with Alabama, Mississippi State. Under the lights of